Asher Lake, and he styles
My
himself
character's
a bit
name
of
is
a poet.
Trixie. Been a little sheltered, and they are, picture if you will, an anthropomorphic squirrel.
She is an elven young girl.
Hello, and welcome to Take 2 of Probability of Demise, Episode 8. We are a tabletop role-playing gamer crew composed of pandemic friends.
Our pod.
Our pod. I can't remember the other part, but we apologize for our memes and puns.
You said it! You said the thing!
I'm Rurik, I will be your DM. This is Larissa, she plays Trixie. Jason plays Asher, and our not present friend who plays Tanzanite is named Jess.
Panic in your eyes, you poor thing!
It was like a redo followed by, oh my god, I better have it right this time.
If you're listening to this, not live, we just had like a solid 20 minutes of technical issues that were also. It was a very, very confusing opening where we forgot all the things we normally say. So we're just working our way back.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jason.
So
I'll be your DM. Wait,
reiterate,
no, that's not how this goes.
Reiterate announcements. Even though we don't have any upcoming events, we would like to encourage you to support your local art groups, whether that be theater, choruses, drag shows. Make sure you support your local libraries, support your museums, art galleries. Rurik was saying that even if you necessarily can't afford to always go, if they have free days, make sure you attend, because those attendance numbers help them to get funding and grants to continue the work that they do. So yeah, make sure you show up as things start to try to recoup as the weather gets warmer and visiting season wherever you are starts to pick up again.
Worth noting, all of these things are recovering from the pandemic right now, so your patronage is extra important.
Yes. The word of the day was
Adduction?
abduction.
Abduction, but adduction I think should be the replacer because we're trying to get back to our center.
That's fair. Okay, so it is now adduction. But I won't go into the story as to why I know what that term and how I've heard that term.
A medical conference once saw Larissa's vocal cords.
So we're still dealing with some stream variability. We're going to go ahead and play our game, though, and the audio, which should be nice and smooth, will be available at a future date and time.
Yes.
It feels like it's both smoothing out and roughing up, depending on which moment you're looking at.
It's Schrodinger's stream.
Okay, I'm actually going to close my chat just to not use the interwebs.
So we'll
Give
try
all
it,
the bandwidth to the streaming.
see where we get, and hope everything goes well. I'm going to give us a little bit of an audio break, and then we will get with a recap and start up our show.
finish this much.
Well, we are fully back right now.
With
Welcome back to Easy Listening with
welcome
Oh.
back to
NPR. That was my NPR voice.
Dungeons at Night.
Well, apologies for the connectivity issues for anybody watching us live. Hopefully we'll have this ironed out next time. It's definitely swapping between high upload speeds and low upload speeds, which is definitely just a fun, normal thing that the internet gives us. Last time when we were gathered together, Trixie
I blame
and
the internet, the provider that rhymes with Nectrum.
Trixie and Asher were engaged in a bit of hunting and sleuthing, trying to find their friend Tanzanite. And at the same time, hoping to combine that task with dealing with whatever the problem was with the blooms that are occurring all over and apparently sickening or affecting people in the neighborhood. As part of that, they climbed up and they met a crab who was sustaining itself, greatly enlarged, and the biggest crab you ever did see.
engorged.
They successfully helped the crab find its way after a spell temporarily brought it down to size. And we'll see what that means for the village downstream. And then,
Ripple effect.
hey, things happen. Maybe the crab's all good. And then when it gets bigger, it's just going to go straight into that water and stay. They continue to pursue information about what had happened to the to their
Water
friend,
source,
but
yeah.
also the water source. And they made their way up and they discovered the source of the water was a spring that was actually coming out of a bit of a minor cliff face, so to speak. Not huge by any means, but their examination revealed through more physical means
And a nat 20.
a cave that led them after a nice evening sleep, actually, to a cave of not exactly the wonders one would picture when one says the cave of wonders, but rather a cave of wonders, and an individual who had seemed to have grafted themselves
Like
to
when you wonder what that smell is.
grafted themselves to another creature or something. They were also connected physically with one of the canisters or shapes that looked a lot like one that they saw underneath Underton. And two beasts that have yet to be visibly seen, but one has been offered a bit of a treat. And we got to a place where I decided that they needed to roll initiative.
That's right.
So
Oh, God. That's right.
if everyone would roll initiative.
Okay.
8.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Peeking at my happiness.
Why? You peek at ours all the time.
I have to know it so I can put it in order. But this one makes me happy.
Yeah, but I tell you mine. You don't tell me yours.
So, you're up first. There is this being who's definitely aggressive. You've tossed a treat behind you. You know, there's another beast to the side a bit. What are you up to?
I am going to hold my action to possibly I'm going to hold my action to see when our adversary pick a emphasis on a syllable it's Wednesday, y'all. Hump day.
We do words on this podcast.
We do know English.
Mostly.
It's American English. Don't expect too much.
Yeah. No. Standard is much lower.
There.
To intercept
My English
if
is
he
impeccable.
goes to attack Asher. Basically, like if he starts to advance on either of us, then I'm going to
So you're holding your attack action or your
and my move. Yeah.
block action. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what you see is the one that is kind of entangled and all this stuff. All of those tentacles become more organized, and some of them pop off of the rock that they're attached to and kind of doing something to, and begin to.
Stop.
Oh yeah, kind of come to a central place around him, enwrapping him a bit like a fortification of sorts. And he is going to go ahead and try to attack both of you. So he's got 2 attacks. Does a 19 hit?
Does a 19 hit? Yes.
Okay,
I'm a bard. What do you think I'm wearing?
good stuff. You take
So would this not?
your
Is he
your
not
action is going
moving?
to come, but he's done his attack. It's like his tentacles are doing the attacking.
Okay.
So you basically see the tentacles that have kind of gathered up. One reaches out and lashes out.
Okay.
So because you did not take the take an action to shield or protect, but rather to attack.
Well, okay.
But that's 10 points of damage your way. It is slashy tentacle damage. And I would like for you to roll a Constitution saving throw. So as that tentacle lashes out and you start to leap forward, you're also getting attacked.
Okay.
Does a 9 hit?
No.
So you see that tentacle lash out and hit Asher, cueing you to your held action, which is to
Okay.
attack him. So go ahead and roll your attack.
15 was my saving throw.
You're fine. You do feel as that tentacle hits you that it tried to like inject you with something, but you kind of like shoved off the tentacle before it could actually occur.
Okay. First one's at 18.
All right, that hits.
Second one is a 22.
Hits.
Shit,
Both
talking
of
mushrooms.
Those hit. Both of those hit.
I will grab that later. And so the first one is 7. Second one is 10, and then I'm going to use a key point and do stunning strike.
Cool.
If I can remember how. There we go.
I think you just have
You
to
did.
tell me the saving throw.
It's a DC 14 Constitution,
Okay, makes the save.
but I can still
You still get a hit.
right. Ooh, that is a 24. That's 8 more points.
All right, takes those points of damage. Great.
Oh
my
wait,
goodness.
can I? Can I use a hand to harm and stunning strike on the same one?
If you spend a key point, or is it?
Yeah, it says when you hit a creature with an arm strike, you can spend 1 key point to deal an extra 1d6 plus 3 necrotic. But you can use it only once a turn. The hand of harm.
I don't see why not, but maybe somebody will rules lawyer about it later. But let's go for it.
Okay.
I like the idea that you're both trying to stun him and harm him all in one go, and kind of like pushing out like a magical anime samurai
Samurai. Okay.
samurai
Okay.
Gojuken
All right.
mode.
Do you want me to
Hoping it should
re-roll the attack or
No, just tell me
okay?
whatever. What is it
Okay.
that?
So that would be 9 points of necrotic damage.
Awesome. So as you hit him with the first 2 hits, it's like taking very much physical damage. That last one, when it hits, you can see that the vines kind of writhe a bit, and kind of go up to the place where your fist touched and latch on. And his face goes a little pale for a second.
Okay.
Something about the necrotic damage, he doesn't want to take that.
Mm.
But there's something about these vines that are enwrapping him that seems to worry him quite a bit. Okay. That takes us to the monster. No, that takes us to the monster. Can you roll an animal handling check? And I have to beat it. But
Oh, so close.
well, just roll higher than a 6.
8.
Okay. In a contested
It
roll
like
of
hung on a natural 20 and then
animal instinct versus animal being fed,
bribery always wins.
you hear a little bit of a tussle. And are not attacked from behind for the moment. It's your turn. What are you up to?
Was Bonnie in here?
Should be.
Yeah.
Oh, did you roll her? Okay.
She's not going yet. She's maybe has bad initiative. You might be a druid.
I'm going to say at the guy, hey you, big dummy. Your daddy was so ugly people think you're twins. And it's vicious mockery.
I'm sorry. What?
Okay. Go for it.
All my funnest haikus are vicious mockery haikus.
Nice.
What do I have to do here? I think he just has to save, right?
Do I have a save? What is the save? I don't remember anymore.
Wisdom 15.
I haven't played like 50 bards in the last 10 years. So go ahead and double that damage, whatever you're rolling for the damage, because they just now.
Oh!
Well, that's 6 because I rolled a 2 and a 1 on my d4s. So
Yay! Go low rolls all around.
I just flick him in the eye with my words.
In that moment where he's caught between the nervousness and what you said, he didn't catch all of it, but then you can see like true hurt come into his eyes for a moment.
Good.
Before
He hit me with a tentacle.
he did tentacle you. Okay, Bonnie, just back behind you, is going to turn and see what is going on with the growling creatures, and she is going to try to control Beast.
Okay.
And she's successful. The Beast did not meet its save. So she gets this. You can kind of behind you feel like a quick breeze of ocean air, like the saltiness. And then as that fades away, the growling stops. Okay. That takes us to your turn again.
Okay.
Top of the order.
I'm trying to figure out. I don't think I can use it that way, can I? My shovel, because it technically has a blade on it, but I don't think I can use it as like a cutting, slashing kind of thing. Okay. I am going to hit it again with my 2 attacks, and then I guess for both of those. Oh wait, no. For I guess I'm gonna say the second one. I'm gonna use a key point to do the hand of harm again. So, no, not you. First one is a 26.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Second one is
You haven't rolled anything unpainful.
another 26.
Yeah.
So, where's my other?
She sees me rolling, hitting.
Okay.
A monster's dying so quick and dirty.
First one is 6 points. Second one is 7 points plus 5 points necrotic. And then I'm going to use another key point. Hang on. I could use 1, 2, 3. I mean, one more, and I'm going to do another stunning strike. Is that cocked or not? Oh, I will let you call it. It's
I think that's cocked.
okay. Don't worry. That is a 17.
Hits.
Okay.
I need to make tougher enemies.
That is a big fat 5.
Okay, what is 14 you said before?
Yes.
Makes this save
God
again
dang it.
on the stunning strike. Is looking really abused.
Good.
They're not happy, and the second necrotic strike just like it's almost like every hit you do is it like you kind of punch. And what does it look like when you punch with your necrotic strike? What is the effect or the difference with that?
I'd like to think that in my like essence, I'm essentially like so like the anger or the menace behind it is what's toxic. So when I hit, it's more about like it's almost like you see a fist print and then it like sinks under the skin.
Ugh, cool. So as that fist print is like there before it even fades, one of those tentacles reach up and cover over that area, and slowly each piece that you've touched where there's been necrotic damage is covered by a tentacle. And the person inside of this mess looks extremely nervous now. They
Oh,
we have a doggy moment outside.
hold for
want
neighbors'
monsters.
pooches.
It's the monsters.
We really wanted
They're
to have a cool breeze, and we get to pay for it with puppy noises.
We live in a dog-friendly building, so
Telling you, it's the monsters.
So, seeing you as the scariest creature right now, its tentacles that it still controls reach out to try to grab you. Can you roll a strength saving throw to avoid being entangled in its horribleness?
13.
All right, so that does not save. And what happens to you, and what you see is that this squirrel friend of yours is enveloped in all of these tendrils and then drawn in and under. If you've ever seen the old the Three Ghosts of Scrooge, where the two children are under the robe,
Okay, yep.
it's kind of like you got sucked into that space. Like it's a void. There's not anything really there at this moment, but you've just been pulled into that. And what you see is just, it's super dark, but what you can make out is just vines in all directions. What you see on the outside looking in is she just got sucked into that dark space that had been created as like a bit of armor for this individual. And that's all it can do on this turn. So you hear a yelp behind you, Asher. I don't know that you can hear it through the thickness of the tentacles. But you hear a yelp behind you, and you can faintly hear that Bonnie must have said something to the dogs or to the creatures. And then there's just the quick sound of padding feet running off to the exit that you had come in through. Your turn. What are you up to?
I'm going to say, a clever loophole makes your spell agreement null and void. Sorry, and I'm going to cast Dispel Magic at the vines like that are holding her.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll do anything, but
can you roll your attack with your spell modifier with your spell? It's in your spells if you want to look at it there, and then you'll see up at the top it says. I just want to see how powerful this is.
my spell attack modifier,
Yeah.
or just the regular modifier.
Yeah, you have like a +7, I believe.
Okay.
Turn your mic towards you. There you go.
14.
All right, with a 14 hit from this dispel magic. First off, you see a lot of things change. Something around Bonnie dissipates really quickly. But what happens with the tentacles is they grow stiff and kind of like solidify in place for a moment. And you can see that the individual once humanoid individual within them starts to scream. Like they're in the act of starting to just scream in some sort of horrific pain. But all the tentacles have become very solid in this moment. Yeah, is that all you're going to do on this turn?
I'll use my bonus action to say, we do crazy things when we're well motivated. I'm tired. You go ahead. Bardic inspiration.
Okay.
That's a D8.
Mhm.
Okay. I think.
Bonnie comes up beside you and she just grasps this little amulet that she has and she goes, a heads up next time. And then she seems to do a little bit of concentration. You can see that something that was off with her in that moment comes back. And then she kind of looks in your direction and reaches over and taps Asher's shoulder and goes, you got this. So you'll have a D4 available to you for your next thing. Ability check, not for attacks. You are in this place. It's all gone still suddenly.
Okay. Did I hear the scream?
Probably, because it would have echoed through the vines that you're in.
Okay. Can I locate it though? Like, can I pinpoint
roll a
it?
perception check to see if you can figure out exactly where in this morass that it is.
Let me double check what my modifier is.
Saying that DC is
15?
At least okay. So you think you have an idea, and you're faced with a choice, because the benefit of that scream was you have a sense of where the weakest portion of this vine cover is,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not exactly certain where the scream came from. You know that it probably came from up above somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but are you at that place because it would have traversed down these vines,
Right.
and you're not an idiot. You know how sound travels,
Right.
even if you just played as a kid with like a bit of string and whatever.
Two halves of an acorn shell.
Two halves of an acorn shell, or a branch on either end. Two
Yes.
kids playing around. You know how sound travels and can be distorted in a forest and other places, and this is kind of like being in a forest. So you're aware that you think it's up, but which up would lead there, and how badly distorted has the sound been?
But I can tell where
But
the
you can
weakest
tell where
point
there's
is.
a weak point.
I'm aiming for the weak point.
Okay, roll a strength check with advantage, unless you're doing an attack on that spot.
I am going to punch it.
Okay, roll attack on that weak spot.
25.
It hits.
21.
Hits. Roll the damage. Breaking branches.
And I'm going to use another key point and do Fury of Blows.
Okay.
Sorry, just let me get to them. Why do you keep resetting? Stop that nonsense. Okay. Oh, that's why, because I have to hit apply. Ha ha ha. Okay. All right. Third one is, that one's only a 12.
12.
And then fourth one is a 21 again.
You're aiming at the vines. The vines don't have a high DC.
Bardic inspiration.
Okay, so all four of them?
Yep.
Okay. Look at that. Wait, I have one. Must be over there. It's fine. It's some. Oh no! There goes another one. What is it with me dropping dice all over the place? Okay.
You do that. Never mind.
No, not in this capacity. They got stuck on the cord. It's fine. First one is a 5. Second one is 10. 6 and 8.
Okay. Your first punch, you're like, ugh. Second punch, you break through a bunch of it. And you can feel like a change in the air. You know you're getting through. Third punch, you break free. That fourth punch is just to spite it all, smashing some extra on your way out.
Hands down.
You are now free.
Squirrel of Fury.
You still have your movement. You use your bonus action in your action.
Mm-hmm.
You can use your movement to move further away if you want, but it may provoke an opportunity attack of some sort.
So I am like up against him,
Yeah.
right?
You're definitely within 5 or so feet of him now.
Okay.
You know that those vines, when they were active, had a much greater reach, but you are definitely close to him.
Okay. I'm just gonna close in, like, and get close.
And you can see he's kind of in agony,
Mm-hmm.
and something's definitely wrong. Okay, that takes us to the creature's turn, and it is going to use one of its legendary actions to restore its vines, and it's going to use another one of its things to restore its vines. Fails both of those.
It's gonna roll dice and knock over cans.
I'm trying to decide if it's going to waste one more. It has to. It remains immobile and in a screaming pain fit.
I can almost hear it screaming.
Inarticulate rage. Asher,
Hey.
what's up? The puppies are gone, so I'm not even able to use those right now. Fully deconstructing my counters.
Why do you get mad at us when we do good?
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I'm just depressed that I didn't make them worse. Thought I made it scary.
I'm gonna.
I've been rolling like an SOB,
If you
so
would like to be nice to me, you just die to them.
you made me roll a whole new character?
No, I like this character.
I do too.
That's why I'm actually doing balanced encounters instead of ridiculous ones.
I'm gonna shoot my revolver of warning.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's a nat 1.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay.
This is when I collapse the cave, isn't it? I saw
Please.
that look on
Or shoot your
face.
friend. Okay. Roll a d4.
Ouchie.
Wait. 1. Total misfire jams up the gun. A 2. You hit a stalactite that crashes down and hurts you. 3. You hit her. 4. You hit Bonnie.
Oh god. Come on, 1. 2.
So yeah, you're like all excited to use this revolver, and you're like pulling it out, and oops, I clicked too soon. And you and Bonnie both have a moment of like eye contact, and then up, and then
Can I use my bonus action to push Bonnie out of the way?
sure,
Okay.
shove, and down comes the stalactite. You're gonna take 1d6 of damage from a falling stalactite. Ooh, 5. Asher's getting beat up.
A little bit.
I mean, he's squishy, so that's gonna happen. But I mean, beef you up, kid. You swole.
All right, that takes us to Bonnie, who's going to run back over to Asher and go, "Are you okay?" And she just puts her hand right on your face, and you can feel like this like salt brininess, and then the smell of seaweed as she kind of shoves something into your mouth. And you're going to heal for the cocked dice. 7 points of health plus 3, 10 points of health.
You can use that if you want. See if it'll even things up.
Yeah, all my horrible dice rolls. Okay. That takes us to your turn. He's looking awful.
Good.
You're right up close to him.
I'm gonna
His
punch
vines
him.
are looking good again. Is that the?
No,
No?
he
Okay.
failed all 3 attempts to bring him back.
Okay.
I'm a
But he's got his.
something else. A trick of a sweeve. I am
See if
going.
his legendaries are restored or not. Don't die. Don't die.
I am going to punch him in the face.
Okay, he's gonna die. He's gonna die.
We'll see. Oh,
Ooh.
that is a 11.
Does not hit.
Bardic inspiration.
Okay. Oh, that is a 24.
Yeah, it hits.
Another key point for flurry of blows.
Think of it as furry of blows.
17
Yeah, it hits.
for a flurry of blows. That one probably doesn't hit. That's a 10.
Nope.
Okay,
Not
so
using
I
your bardic
got
inspiration at all.
2, right?
Yeah.
All right. First one is 6. Second one is 10.
How do you want it? How's it going down?
Yes. So I would like to kind of I'm sorry. I
Wasn't the
would
big bad evil person, that's for sure.
as I burst out of these vines, I'm going to use my innate ability to climb, and I'm going to climb up around and like on his shoulders, and I am going to essentially put him in like what would be considered a noogie position, and I'm just going to literally just punch him in the head repeatedly, specifically avoiding the thing on his chest.
All right.
Until he stops moving.
Definitely stops
And
moving.
possibly until his brain becomes mush. Nut mash. brain
Come on,
mash.
no.
Brain math.
Hobo stew.
Oh.
Oh, that's so bad. No.
7 Days to Die reference.
All right. So yeah, the encounter's over. That was fast.
Speaking of salty,
Later on, when you watch the intermission and you hear about how I build encounters, don't follow any of my advice because I'm wrong.
oh, stop.
Actually, that went 3 rounds. It was at least damaging you.
I nat one myself.
I rolled a bunch of junk.
I did not roll a bunch of junk.
You didn't roll any junk.
I did too. I rolled a 3 and a 4.
She just gets a lot of rolls every turn, that's all. What happens
It's
of
all
her bad.
good. It's all good.
Probability.
Demise happened. Just didn't happen the way, you know. I'm not hoping for it. I just like to see it get a little close. All right. So that takes us
Hoping
off.
for-
You have this.
Just want a death save or two now and then.
Did you smash him to unconsciousness or to death?
I mean, I apologize for the gruesomeness, but I probably would have punched
Okay.
through to be able to see something. So
All right. So as horrific as that sounds, there is now a body still slightly entangled in these semi-petrified vines. You don't know if they will reanimate at some point or not. But you can see that container is still there. And Bonnie's in the background, kind of after having face smushed Asher, and
Seaweed.
you have the space to yourselves. It's a fairly big section of cavern, considering what you've been in up until now has been more narrow walls. You could explore this space. You can explore the corpse.
I would like to search the corpse.
All right, roll an investigation check.
18.
All right. You do discover that the corpse had some nuggets of what look like the same material that is used for barter and trade in Overton. Quite a few. And then in terms of other things you find on it, you locate that the object that you thought was embedded isn't fully connected to the humanoid part, but it is connected to the vine part. And it, kind of as you're like exploring around trying to figure out where things are and how things are connected and just figure out what's on the corpse, you realize that those vines are actually tied and kind of are connecting him to it. It just happens to be placed in his abdominal region, more by function than by anything else. And that's about it. There's not really, you do find some notes, some like crazy sketch notes, but nothing else on the person that you're currently looking at.
Can I read the notes?
Go ahead and roll just an intelligence check.
That's not good. That's a 3.
Well, it's not unheard of to not understand something, but looking at this, they look like the ravings of a lunatic. Making heads or tail of this is very difficult indeed. Like just
Maybe I'll try again some other time. I'm gonna put the notes in my journal. Put those in my journal, and then I'll just put the money or whatever it was away in my pack. And
yeah, go ahead and because we're using gold to be easy, go ahead and put 75 gold.
money, 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 money.
Okay.
I am going to see if I can extricate. Bless you. Yes. See, and you still like warm weather.
I do.
I'm going to attempt gingerly, very, very gingerly, to see if I can extricate the canister.
Okay. This is kind of a delicate operation, but probably doable.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you just, as far as being safe with it, roll a dexterity check. I'm guessing you're trying to be more gingerly about it than just
absolutely.
like ripping it out.
Yes. Just a straight dexterity?
Unless you want to make a case for something else that you're doing.
Maybe, I don't know, sleight of hand, but I don't know. I guess I don't know what
You could do sleight of hand.
the modifier's the same, I guess.
I was thinking about your character sheet when I said just do a dexterity check, but
You still have bardic inspiration.
I know, that's what I was saving it for. Gah!
it's his job to remind you, honestly. If the bard doesn't remind you, people forget.
Yeah, but I feel like he has to remind me before I roll,
No.
right?
No, before you know the result.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that's a 9 plus it's a 13.
You go to extricate it, and you hear a couple of things that just make you a little bit nervous for a moment.
If you want to use your moat, you can re-roll it and choose the higher of the two.
Oh, right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear a little
Second one was a 2.
chink, and it makes you nervous for a second. And then as you pull further, you hear a rolling sound. And then you finally extricate this container thing. And it's decent size. So at least the size of your head, maybe a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And you look back at the body, and you can see that there were a glass vial and a little marble-sized thing inside of it.
A little glass vial. Sorry.
Well, stick with me.
Yes,
here.
yes, yes,
Little
yes.
glass vial with a little tiny, and you kind of broke it with the first,
Yeah.
and then the second was the little marble rolling out of the glass vial.
Uh-huh.
Nothing to do with the object you tore out.
I hate it when you do that.
I don't know how to say the word, but if you ever have a Ramuni, that's exactly what I was describing.
Oh, I was getting like Da Vinci Code vibes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So I was like, oh, no. Okay, good. I'm glad. Okay. Hopefully he wasn't pressurized.
As you hear that sound, run.
Okay, I'm going to walk over to Bonnie and be like, so this is this is what was down in the cave under Underton, right?
It looks the same, sort of.
Do you think, because I think we broke that one.
Yeah.
Do you want to see if we can put this one there instead and make the water okay again?
I don't know if we could get back in there.
I mean,
Or maybe we can put it somewhere in the lake that it could be protected. But it might help with the sweet water. Might make more sweet water. Nee might
it
know,
didn't make it sweet here.
but I think that more had to do with. And I jerk my hand and thumb gesture back over my shoulder at whatever that person was.
I mean, it's worth a try. Do you want to like sneak back over and tuck it in?
I'm just trying to think of. I don't know where to put it in the meantime, but I feel like we should ask Nee. Like maybe Nee would know. Or
Bonnie just looks at the two of you for.
We could try sending him another letter, but that would take a while.
gosh dang it, Tanzanite, where are you?
What's that?
Okay. Does anybody have any extra cloth or something that I can like wrap this in, like cushion it up? And
You.
Okay.
Yeah. Here. She kind of takes her bag and reaches in and she pulls out what looks like something black all rolled up.
Okay, I take it and
It's seaweed.
um
I was gonna make some clothes for y'all, but this is you can do this.
okay,
It's a huge roll of seaweed.
right, but like is it like just strip after strip after strip, or
No,
is it
it's
like
a
sheets?
Huge.
Okay, so like
imagine you
like
went
a
to the
bolt of
fabric
cloth.
store
Okay,
and
okay,
somebody
okay.
actually gave you seaweed.
Got you. But it's not like dried seaweed. It's like wet kelpie.
Oh, it's definitely still damp.
Okay. I'm going to lay it on the ground and then I'm going to place it in there and I'm going to like start to roll it and then like tuck it in every once in a while to like try to burrito it so that it's surrounded on all sides. And then I'm just going to take like a strip of cloth and like try to wrap it like a present.
Roll an Amazon worker check.
Roll for bubble wrap. But yeah, and then I'm going to put it in my pack.
Yeah. I assume at this point that you, with the little mini adventures that you've had so far and just your training and your background, you know how to pack. You're not Tanzanite who's going to have to roll for it when she does it on her
We
own.
would hope so. And then I'm going to turn to Bonnie and be like, can you tell if the water's okay now? I don't know if you
I'm not really sure, but I can try.
okay.
Do you know where it is down here? Because I haven't really seen it.
I'm going to like listen to see if we could get it trickle or
I think my torch is still probably burning here somewhere. I'm gonna pick that up and like look around.
You roll a perception check while you're looking around. You'll roll a perception check listening for
9.
25. No, 21. Sorry.
You listen closely. You don't hear the sound of steady water. You hear the drips from stalactite stalagmites, like regular cave sound of water, until you get closer to the entryway you came in through.
Okay.
And then as you get closer to that, you can hear the sounds of liquid moving more clearly, and you think it must be back that direction somewhere within the cave wall.
Okay.
You begin meandering around and you don't see any source of water whatsoever, but what you do see as you're kind of meandering around the cavern is you see a long-term residence of sort and laboratory, and it looks like a mess. There are scrapes along the cavern walls in this area that look like some sort of thought written out. There are books. Many are moldy, but there are books covering an entire section of the space. There's some lab equipment.
Can I look through the books?
There's a ton of them.
Can I look through the books?
So you're just looking spine search, or like how are you looking through the books?
Yeah, do they have like titles on them, or are they just?
Some of them do. Some of them are like tattered and beaten. But go ahead and roll a investigation check, I guess.
That's cacked.
Anything in specific you're looking for?
9. My dice hate me today.
You know, a lot of these are really deteriorated. You find some that are very clearly journals because just of how they're newer in make. They aren't ancient things. You do find one or two that look older. The spine is very faded. You can't make out what it says. But they fit the condition of a lot of ancients' materials, preserved despite the huge age. Something that the ancients were really good at was this material that holds up against everything. And while it may fade, become yellowed, may get brittle, it never seems to really go away. It just stays forever. Commentary. But you do see that there are 2 of these tomes that are on the shelf that definitely came from ancient times.
Okay. Can I look at those and see what they are about?
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and maybe let's say that it takes you about an hour to get a sense of what's in them and going through them, because you do have that background with having some of the reading in that area. But during that hour, what are you up to?
I would have probably seen if I could find the source of the water, seeing as I didn't think there was any more immediate danger. So I would have left him to it and put my goggles on so I could still see, and then like
Yeah, split the body. It's all fun.
it was already split. I'm not sure what.
I think you and Bonnie kind of work together and make your way over there. And you do locate the tome. And when you do locate it, you
The tome, the water.
the tome, the water. Monkey.
It's all right. It's
I'm confused. You do locate the water. And I think Bonnie all says, I think I just need a minute.
okay.
And she sits down and she begins to commune with water. At least that's what you take it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do anything while she's doing this, or are you?
I am going to take out my jar of maple syrup and stick my paw on and suck on it.
Okay. Sitting there sucking on a paw of maple syrup.
Victory. Victory paw full of syrup. Ah.
Roll a d12.
Oh, God.
That's a d20.
Nope. Okay. That was a 9 for anybody listening.
Honey on hand. You look down and you see the double pair of tracks leading out that you presume belonged to the creatures that Bonnie helped and you helped redirect. And just have that moment to reflect on what happened to those. Are they coming back?
I think I have bacon still, so. But we'll find out. But I am not following those tracks. I'm not going to leave Bonnie alone.
You, as you're kind of going through these 2 tomes, the first one, how into chemistry was Asher at any point in Asher's life?
I'm going to say not much.
Okay, it reminds you of that class you were required to take as part of growing up and being a member of the Overton Society that you're just like, I don't get this. I don't know why this is required. Only reason I keep showing up is that Nee apparently gets along with the instructor, and I'm afraid that the instructor is going to talk to Nee at one point, and I don't want to be caught out on this. Like, don't catch me being naughty right now.
Asher tried to go to both academies, so
Yeah.
he may have had like a course that he didn't do well in.
Intro to chemistry. The other one has a lot of mathematics and diagrams, but they remind you a bit of your studies of poetry and how poems are built and put together. And so as you're looking at that, you realize that it's definitely not about poetry, but there's something about how it was written that is rhythmic in nature and kind of fits that space. And you realize that somebody once told you that physics was just poetry with words. Or without words, I mean. It was the rhythms of the universe without the words. And looking at this, you're like, oh, this is like basic physics. Okay.
How heavy is this book?
It's thick. Both of them are thick. I think everybody here at this table is aware of what a college textbook feels like when you pick one up.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in my bag.
And when you pay for one, how painful that is too.
When you sell it, how depressing that moment is.
Oh.
You decide not to sell them anymore.
I got $11 back. Oh boy.
That was a $200 textbook. Thanks.
Oh, we're using a new edition. I'm sorry, we can't buy that one back. Every fucking semester.
I just love it when you had to buy the lecture notes because they were a required item. And then the professor proceeded to speak the lecture notes at you. If I could buy your instructions, why am I sitting in your classroom?
My favorite is when there's a required book that you have to buy for the class and it was written by the instructor.
I've had that too. Same professor, actually.
Certainly not just, padding their own royalty check or anything.
Terrifying.
It's even funnier if they never use it.
Okay, on this depressing topic.
That's why the world died.
We are going to go ahead and take a break in just a moment.
So we can learn about physics. And we'll come back.
And we'll be back with Jason's lecture on bioparticle mechanics.
Gross.
Hey.
Barking up the wrong tree, friend.
We do apologize for the connection issues. Hopefully it's getting better, but I somehow have doubts. Thank you. And see you in about 30 minutes if you're still here. I do provide a lovely lecture on how to develop an encounter, which is all garbage,
It is not.
I talk about the mechanics and the real thing and then what I do, which is not real. Anyways, thank you all. See you in half an hour.
This is real.
It's all in your imaginations. Hello and welcome to our halftime show thing. Today I'm going to talk about designing encounters because it feels like a great intermission thing to do. So if you're interested, listen in. If not, skip forward about 25 minutes and you'll be back into our show. If this is playing during the live, you'll just have to wait it out or go make yourself a snack if you're not interested. Now, I am not the best at designing encounters. Especially when I'm working with a party and we're having a good time, and really I'm more of a story play person. So either I'm the best because I struggle with it or I'm the worst because I don't like it. But encounter building is a complicated little process, and there's how the game was designed and then there's how people play it out. So I will share how it was designed to be built, and then I will describe what I do instead. So the game's foundational balance is based on two main concepts. In the Dungeons Master's Guide, you can find it on page 84 and then page 274, I think. But the first concept that's on the earlier pages, 84, I think, is a group, your party, and this is a party of like 3 to 5 adventurers. So if you have a bigger group, you have to kind of adjust. If you have a smaller group, you have to adjust as well. Should be able to handle 6 to 8 medium or hard encounters per adventuring day. And an adventuring day is long rest to long rest. So provided you're not interrupting the long rest, they should be able to get through that many encounters. Now, I don't do that. I tend to go for deadly encounters and have them once per adventuring day. And that's just my adjustment that I make, because I enjoy seeing my players use their abilities for roleplay reasons and not feel like they have to constantly safeguard their spell slots and skills for the next combat encounter. Now, the other piece to that is that most combat encounters, and this is the page 270s-ish one, is that most combat encounters should only last 3 rounds on average. When I'm doing a big bad encounter, I might make the rounds last longer, but I always feel like I need to have more roleplay involved, so I might have phases to the encounter if it is going to last more than 3 rounds. If the encounter is not really a big bad sort of situation or a marking point in the roleplay experience, then I might actually just trim the hit points of my monsters so that my characters can end at least by the 3rd, if not having to go over the 4th round of combat. Now, this balance is intended that your players have enough hit points, spells, special powers, etc., to go through a total, let's do the math here, 3 rounds, 6 to 8, so 3 times 6 is 18, so 18 rounds of combat, and that they're also taking 2 short rests per day to recover a portion of those resources. That's not always how it runs, and honestly, I noticed that when we're in the fun of it, we kind of forget the short rest piece a little bit. So based on that piece, now we need to figure out how to balance things out with the party's experience threshold during an adventuring day. You'll see that monsters have experience points that they're worth. And if I pull up D&D Beyond, I'm going to go ahead and pop that in right now. If we just go to one of the monsters here, oops, wrong spot. I want to go to. We'll be going into the tool here in a second, but I'm memory issues right now. Can't remember where. Actually, let's just go to the encounters. So this is D&D Beyond's beta section for their encounters, and if we just pop into one of the encounters that I was kind of playing with and building up, you can see air elementals are worth 1,800 experience points. Now, if you go back to page 84, I believe, of the Dungeons Master's Guide, you'll see that they have everything laid out based on the experience per day per character that should be accruable. So if you take that number, so for first level players, 300, multiply it by the number of players, say you have 5 players, now you got 300 times 5, doing a lot of math and having a lot of fun here, you get to a number that says, 5 times 3 is 1,500. If I choose to put them up in front of an large air elemental like this, that's more experience than they're expected to play through. And that's pretty terrible encounter, pretty deadly in general. Now, the one that I have up on the screen right now is calculated for 5 players of level 10, and it's still rated a hard experience. And that's just 2 air elementals, a west wind and an east wind, which were interesting, fun things that I threw together based on other pieces of stuff. If you add up the entire experience, though, that's 5,000 XP. Now, on a per day basis, level 10 players should be getting about 9,000 XP per day. So if I dropped this down by 1,000 or so, let's go ahead and edit this one. and edit. I'm going to get rid of one of those air elementals. Now that's a little bit more, but what we end up having here is now we've changed this from a hard encounter to a medium encounter. What I love about D&D Beyond's encounter builders is you get like a preview of what the experiences might be. So like you can see up here that it says an easy encounter would be 3,000 XP per player, or per this party, adventure party, because they've already calculated the party as a whole. Medium is 6,000, hard is 9,500, deadly is 1,400, and then the daily total of XP that they can work their way through is 45,000. So if we did 45,000 XP, that means we got 5 players at level 10. That's 9 times 5, 45,000. Woohoo! We know what we can work towards. So if I'm looking at this party and 10 players, I have a lot of room to really mess around with them in a single encounter. But as I bump it up, the more difficult the encounter becomes, and the more of that daily XP total that they get access to. So if I bump it up to 4 air elementals, we've now hit a place where the encounter is considered deadly. And deadly encounters are anything where I honestly think it's like a fourth of the experience that they have allotted for the day. And it's just going to be an encounter that drains more resources than you might expect. Now, what I like to do is I like to have one encounter, because I can do that in a session and kind of have each session be a day if possible, unless we're like doing a lot of role play with time passing. And during that day, have that big encounter kind of like drain their resources quite a bit. Maybe have a couple of pre-encounters if I want to build it up and really, drain them out. And if you're finding that your players are just like very good at strategies with regard to large encounters, you can kind of like mini encounter drain their capacity to a place where when they do have the big encounter, it's a lot harder. It makes them work harder for it. And so that's all totally fine. Sorry. So if you turn back a couple pages in the DMG, I don't remember which page it is on exactly, you can kind of look at encounter difficulty experience charts for players. And it kind of rates out by level how much experience players should get based on the difficulty. So if level 1 character is having an easy encounter, well, that's a 25 XP monster. So the fun thing with, at least I use D&D Beyond a lot, but in building your encounter, is just hunting through the manuals for a monster that is worth only 25 XP. So I might go ahead and bring the challenge rating all the way down to just the simple small beasts, and if I click on the Almirage, which I'm not ever sure I'm pronouncing correctly, but I had a group of kids that I played with who really, really wanted to collect a few of these because I had an encounter with them. I was kind of playing off of some tropes with the MMOs and just enjoying the idea that this creature could have been their monster that they encountered. And if we look at the sheet for it and look at the information for it, we can see that it's not that terrible a monster. So if I go over here and I add it in, it's only worth 10 experience. But if I want my first level players to have a fun experience full of these creatures, and I've got, let's say I've got 4 players. So each player can definitely handle 2 with 5 XP left over, so I can get per 2 players 5 of these things. So now I have an encounter with a herd of these little monsters with these horns on their heads running around chasing them. And especially with my preteen groups who wanted to go capture some of these, it just made for some very fun, hilarious encounters. Now, all this can get very complicated, so if you're not interested in trying to build it up from scratch, which was something I used to do and is very, very hard, you could use D&D Beyond's new tool, or there's also what I shared in the last one, which is the Kobold, I'm not going to remember it. We have another tool that is an encounter builder and I think it's Kobold Fight Club. Yes, Kobold Fight Club. And I think Kobold Plus is also, I don't remember. But Kobold Fight Club is a great little encounter builder. And what you can do with that one is very similar. I'm going to pop it up here. I just definitely enjoy a variety of tools to kind of figure things out. And you can work through this basically worksheet to develop what your encounter is going to be. So I can do everything from building up my party. It's going to be, for example, the party that I currently have going in is just 2 people right now, but I think they're at level 7, and already it's doing the math for me. So the daily experience is 10,000. They've already had a little bit of an encounter in this day. No, they haven't. They haven't had an encounter in this day yet, but they're about to have this encounter. So something hard would be 2,200. I want this to be a deadly encounter, so I might do a 3,400 or more. And I'm actually I set them up in an encounter situation that we're about to hit, or that we just hit, since this is playing after the experience. But I set it up so that there was more monster than they could deal with the hope that they tried something creative. I haven't had the encounter yet in my timeline, but in your timeline you saw them have the encounter, so I'm hopeful that they did something creative. I think they already did something a little creative by throwing some food behind them, but I'm hoping it goes even more off the rails, so to speak, and it's more enjoyable. So that's one of the pieces to what is currently going on. But let's just go through and let's find a interesting monster. They have them all, so you can search it. You can do it by crit rating. Let's do crit rating of 10, just because that's fun. I'm not gonna. I want to do. What should we do? I want to just choose something random, but I also want it to be like a real Alhoun. Yes. So if we pop this monster in, then we can get a little bit more of a fun with it. We can try out some different pieces, and kind of just like, I don't know, I feel like the Kobold Encounter or Kobold Fight Club is a really fun one. You can set up roles for the different people. I think that this whole tool is just a blast. So I feel like the Alhoun would be a cool one to add. Let's just add it there. Let me get rid of this Kobold group. There we go. And so now I'm building up this Alhoun based thing, and if I pop back up I can kind of see where I'm going. It's already deadly, but I kind of want it to be more than deadly because I'm a terrible human being. So I kind of want to see if I can't get it up to a very high level and just see what they're going to be able to deal with. So if we'll scroll down here, this is a very messy way to look at the site. Going back to the D&D encounter builder, if I go and do an Alhoun, I don't believe that's part of the original setup, actually. Yeah, I'd have to add that monster, which is another piece. Like, I think that Kobold Fight Club is actually a lot more fun to use because there's a ton of creatures in there that are not necessarily a part of the official stuff. So anything that you're tinkering with and messing around with on Kobold Fight Club, you just have more, and it's a blast. So I enjoy looking through that. I enjoy looking through the monster manual. I enjoy just like hunting out monsters, creating monsters, reskinning a monster. The encounter that's coming up today is a reskinning of a monster with a couple of adjustments and changes and some legendary actions added just to give them some resistances, as well as a layer actions that may or may not come into play. I don't know because I haven't lived this experience yet, that are intended to balance another aspect. So the other aspect that I want to talk about is there is the action economy. And some people don't really talk about this, but I really like to talk about action economy with regard to this because it's how many creatures are doing something versus how many adventurers are doing something. And so if you have one mega monster, the action economy of all your players doing a whole bunch of different things is a lot more leverage that they have against your creature than your creature has against them. So what I like to do, especially if I want it to be a difficult encounter, or if I feel like I have a situation where I haven't engaged a player very well, by having a lot of monsters or creatures in the encounter, I can make sure that each of those creatures are trying to engage the different characters in interesting ways, hopefully in interesting ways that are very roleplay-esque, because that's where I find my joy. But I do have players who love strategy more. I struggle in that space, and it's not my land. So if you're a huge strategist, you're going to dive into all these mechanics and numbers. You're going to probably debunk everything that's in the encounter builders because you are like a master of these spaces. And you may find that adjusting encounter experience is really interesting to you, and that you can build better creatures and you can build better encounters than I ever do. But the general thing is if you have 5 players and they're each at the same level, it's really easy to do the math, figure out what the XP totals are per day, divide that by however many encounters you want to have in the adventuring day, and then build up your monster list from that. The other thing is sometimes I will build up an encounter and I will realize that my characters have done some really cool stuff, so they've leveled up, and I can go back to that encounter and I can just add a few new additional monsters to increase the difficulty and bring it into a space that really works. So you can basically run a budget that you are constantly adjusting based on the XP. There are also a few encounter building tips that I have. First off, the action economy thing, solo encounters will always be beaten fast. If you have one monster, it's just going to be over with really fast. Make sure your prized monsters have plenty of minions backing them up, and don't forget to adjust those encounter experiences. It's okay to scale things up a little too with the big BBEGs, the big bads. But really be careful about insta-kill powers and really hard saving throws. Like a beholder thrown in a party of level 3 characters is not fun. You're just trying to murder your party. Not okay. That's horrible. Also, even if you don't give your non-player characters and sidekicks experience, anybody that's supporting the team, be aware that they are contributing in some way, even if all you're providing is that they get the help action, and that, like the familiar does, that help action gives advantage. So that's an important component to take into account. Make sure you're adjusting the encounter difficulty. I have a propensity for deadly encounters because I like to just do one and done. But having a really light one, or one that can be role played out of, is very useful. The encounter that they had with the crab recently was a low level encounter, mostly just for fun. A little bit of a feeling that I had was that maybe that's a pre-encounter towards the bigger monster inside the cave, but I honestly wasn't even sure they were going to go for that. So sometimes you build an encounter and they don't follow the bait. Also, just random encounters can sometimes serve you really well, and sometimes they just become a problem. So I'm always ready to kind of just, I've said kind of a lot, I'm always trying to be ready to adjust on the fly, and it requires a little bit of improvisation. Sometimes your monster has to run away. I recently ran an encounter where I had 3 monsters of the same type, and one of them was just too tough. It was going to make things miserable for my players, and I didn't want it to last that long. So I had one of them run away as part of the story. Will they come back and get after them another time? Who knows? But it's one of those things that you have to really think about and consider. Also, don't forget the terrain and the situation matters. If it's just a flat attack, it gets boring. But having cover, having your monsters have cover, having your players trying to broach a building and have mechanics involved with what it takes to get over a palisade or whatever, can really make for an interesting encounter. When you're in a cave and you got a flying character, helping them understand where the height is and how far up they can go before they're actually in trouble, and are there any areas of this cavern where it's going to be narrow and problematic, or where it's just open and big and gives them a lot of space to move around in. That's a huge thing. You're like a sea-based encounter is so different from a prairie-based encounter, and it's really fun to kind of play and tinker with that. Another thing is you'll have young players or new players. And I would say, especially since I mostly have DM'd with very young players, consider them to be a level or two lower than what they actually are. Even if they do well with it, throwing a few easy encounters at them early on makes them feel good about the game, and then they can really do more. Save all of your difficult encounters for when they get better, or set up the situation such that maybe two Almirage go after your level 2 new player, while your other players are fending off a much bigger monster type. They're all level 2, but the more experienced players know how to handle that and can also lend a hand to your new player who's fighting off two Almirage, but they get the experience of A, dealing with damage, B, dealing with multiple monsters at the same time, and in all likelihood, unless the more experienced players push in too hard on it, they're going to get a couple of the wins on this, and it's going to make them feel really good about the experience. So those are kind of my overalls with creating and putting together a encounter, and I definitely, in addition to just like designing and creating it, recommend taking your time and looking through the monster manual for things. I also recommend, if you have access to Kobold Fight Club or D&D Beyond, some people may not have the internet and may not have access to this, make some encounters and just tinker for fun. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Just mess around, see what you can come up with, and try it out. I often will create little fun encounters just to think about what I might be interested in doing. What I've loved about the D&D Beyond encounter builder is that, sorry about that, is that I can have my players added into the encounter, and then I can pretend and map out in my head how the encounter might go. And it's just a blast. And it's worth trying out. So that's kind of my overall with regard to encounter building. Some tools that are very helpful is have a way to track the combat order. I like to have, when I first started off, I just used sticky notes with the characters' names and like important stats for me to be aware of as the DM, like their perception, their passive perception, and just have those ready to like reorder based on where the initiative rolls land. Have your monsters also written down that same way. With digital tools, you can just use the digital tool and it will help you with that. In fact, if we one last thing, we just look at this really quickly. We can go into this one. I'm going to just restart it. I think I can restart it. We have a bunch of characters here and a bunch of monsters. This wasn't really a balanced encounter. This was mostly so I could keep track of something else. But we can do manual entry of their initiative order, or we can just put it down as they do it. So rather than doing manual entry, you can do a rolled entry, but I'm going to go ahead and just do this manual, and let's pretend that these rolls are legitimate. 23. I do, in general, see most of my monsters rolling low on their initiative order. But there we go, we have a bunch of initiative. I hit next, I pop in, and they're all ordered for me here. and I can just go through and say, so and so, it's your turn. So and so, you're up next, and then so and so. And then as we move through the turns, we can get everything done. Sometimes I'll group up creatures, and that's a really useful thing to do, especially when you have. I might actually have the 2 shield guardians in an encounter be in the same initiative role, just because having them fight as a group or as a unit makes sense in the situation. But other times you just want to have things more broken up. I hate having to do a bunch of rolls in front of my players that they don't get to see. So I kind of make decisions based on when can I flip back and forth the most frequently, and make sure my players are doing rolls, and that everybody's pretty engaged. It's also kind of fun to have the initiative order, at least this is what I like to do after the first round, right out in front of them, so that the creature that last attacked them, or that is attacking them, they can kind of see and be aware, like, oh, they're going to hit me in this next round. I need to do something. And that might seem very meta or cheaty, but I think it depends on your group and how you're working on things. And so there's a lot of different fun ways to play with it. But yeah, just tinker and mess around and try out various things. Thank you for your time. Hope this is helpful for people who actually want to DM and run encounters. Don't take my advice as fact. Go look up your own things, plan out your own ways of doing things. I hope you enjoy yourself and have a ton of fun playing this really, really great role-playing game or any other tabletop RPG, because they're all very entertaining and just a blast to try out in the various ways that they all function. So thank you very much for listening to me. Talking head time is over.
Hiccup.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Ability Demise.
Oh god, I get like the worst shivers when you do that. Ugh.
Sorry.
Stop!
You get shivers from him doing that?
Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
I mean,
No. Mm-mm.
okay.
Ugh. Ugh.
I mean, all right.
No.
I'm gonna
No.
let that go. Ouch.
Karma. That's what that is, right
I
there.
was letting it go and then it hit me. That's not karma. That's just pain. So we had 4 watchers.
Hey. Had?
Well, I'm not looking at the stream
Oh.
right now. It's too embarrassing.
What?
Now we're down
What?
to 3. But we had 4. That's like all 3 of our aunts showed up.
Hi, Julie. If you're watching, thank you for watching. Hi, Andy.
Aunt Andy. Oh, my Aunt Andy.
Oh.
Uncle Taco.
Aunt Hong would be really mad at me calling her aunt. I think she's younger than I am. All right. So welcome back to Probability.
Andy's
Demise.
much older than me, like at least 6 hours.
6 hours. Yeah. Ancient dude, ancient. So just to catch anybody up who's popping in now, which isn't anybody because it's all in our imaginations at this point anyways. But they've destroyed my big bad, not so big bad. I don't even remember what I said at the end of my little tutorial about this because I was so curious about what was going to happen in this session, and it was not as climactic as anything could have been, right? We didn't even get to use the lair actions because they didn't trigger them, and then they turned off the ability for the lair actions, which was really good of them. They also used up one of the legendary actions before they even started, so it was kind of like,
Wait, is that what Dispel Magic did?
I'm not talking about it. It hurts down deep. I can't breathe.
Wait, I was helpful after all. Yay.
Yeah, I don't know why you said you didn't contribute to the fight. We get it. You have a small penis.
Oh my god, motorcyclists. Okay.
Sorry.
It's not motorcyclists, it's just people ripping up and down New York City side streets on dirt bikes. It's
Yeah.
a whole different genre of asshole.
Yeah, it's not people who actually ride motorcycles. It's all like dirt bike dudes.
Yeah.
Although there's a dude that lives in our building that will like go out at like 3 a.m. and just like rev his actual motorcycle, but like for 10 minutes to warm it up before he goes anywhere.
Appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you've successfully defeated the monster. You did a little preliminary explorations. I think Bonnie, at about this point, as you're kind of like coming to the realization of what these 2 bigger books are, awakens.
Welcome back.
It's not better.
It's not better?
It's definitely not better. I
Is
mean,
it-
it's gross.
Well, crap.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Well, we keep following it to the source, I guess, if we can.
Oh, yeah, it's all through, and she points at the rock wall. Through rock, all the way. All the way back to like some air pocket that I think's where we were.
Where we were. What do
Yeah.
you mean where we were?
Where you all destroyed that monster.
But the water wasn't there.
That's where it's coming from.
I'm confused. Because there wasn't water in there.
Well, there was some water dripping from the ceilings.
So
And if
it's a
that
bug.
gathers after like going through that room. Whatever that thing was,
Okay.
if even just a little bit of it gets in, it's gonna make water bad, right?
I guess. I don't know. Okay.
Water always comes from up. That's all I know.
sorry.
That would
Fish person reverse view of water.
that would make sense to you. Okay.
Where does water come from if you've lived in water your whole life?
I have an idea. Okay, let's go back to Asher. I think I need his help.
Okay.
Meanwhile, back at the Batcave.
Okay. Asher, as they're traipsing down the hallways, what are you up to?
No, so I'm trying to figure out if I can connect this weird chemistry station to the problem of polluted water via various journals and
Okay.
visual exploration. And
So what exactly are you doing? What are you?
I am
Looking for clues.
looking for clues, Sherlock. Let's see. Is there like any sort of like input where the water could be like directly contaminated in this space?
Looking around the space, go ahead and roll a perception check to see what details you can make out.
12.
Okay. Looking around the space, you don't see anything as like dripping water into like a bucket of some of the chemical materials or anything like that. But what you do see is there's a lot of spills and residue from prior alchemical experiments just all over the place, as well as a lot of this really thick black tar on almost every surface.
Okay. And then there was
Some of it's petrified and hard, but other parts are still a little malleable.
and there was like a chemistry set of some sort, or
There's definitely a
like
lot of
lab?
chemistry pieces, the chemical bits and bobs. It all looks very old, like the glass tubes on a set of graduated cylinders are so yellowed that you wouldn't be able to make out any markings on it.
Oh, I wish Nee was here. Is there like anything that I would understand about any of this that could help me?
Roll a general intelligence check if that's what you're trying to do.
16.
I would suggest that from your kind of failure to pay attention in chemistry class, but your access to a chem book that you can start like paging through and trying to make sense of different pieces and get to the conclusion that it wasn't pure chemistry being practiced here, but some fusion of things that you would have taken in at higher levels if you had successfully continued school and chosen to move in that route. You've heard about using chemicals to change creatures. That was something that Nee actually did at one point before stopping that. And using some mysterious processes that some people, older people, called biomechanical engineering. Other folks named it other things, but it kind of had words given to it that slowly were changing over time. And as a young person, you maybe didn't retain them. Some of the more modern phrases that you may have heard that may have stuck around that may be more in common parlance rather than ancient words said by ancient people would be biomagicalism and other strange collisions of words. And what you're looking at fits a deranged version of those practices. I think in addition to that, what you can kind of gather from looking at the shelves is like these journals, of the journals that are there, there's an enormous number of them, more than one person could have produced in a lifetime.
Okay.
About that time as you're kind of like staring at the stack of journals and kind of looking at this and going,
I'm
not
also
sure.
gonna I'll say something is off here. I just need time to focus and see what it is. And I'm gonna cast detect magic.
All right. I would say that as you cast detect magic, that's when you walk in.
Well,
And
water's still crap.
You can see a bit of magic around her, around Bonnie, especially around certain instruments that you know on each of them, and all of the black sludge. All of that, whether it's petrified or not, all of it is emanating some sort of.
I'm gonna take my dagger and just like scoop up the nearest black sludge and like look at it. Like, this stuff is magic. Maybe it's polluting the water.
Can we burn it?
Boomer said no.
I don't know. We could try.
Well,
I don't know if it would explode.
I mean,
Maybe if it explodes, it would clear up the water.
I don't know.
Maybe we. I mean, this. Take a little bit somewhere far away.
Do you want to take
And
that
try
little
to
bit
burn
and
it.
Okay.
put it, like, go back to the coals outside where we slept?
Okay. All right. I'll just go out, like walk back out, and just like hover it over like this smoldering coals in the fire. And just
So it lands and when the heat contacts it, you see. If anybody's ever done one of those fun science experiments where suddenly tendrils float out of the chemicals that you've mixed together, that's what they're seeing as more of those vines start to be created as the heat hits the substance and it starts to waveringly reach out towards all three of you.
can I like just kick really hard and like kick the goop out of the fire before it gets too big?
Just roll an attack for that, just for the fun of it, to see if you do a not one.
Natural 20.
The reprise of the monster did not occur. So you just kick, and it's like it was barely held together, and it just falls apart in the wind.
Well, I guess we don't burn it. That seems like it'd be bad.
I don't know what else we can do to destroy it, though. We can't bury it because it'll just reach the water again.
We need to find out if there's like another chemical that will kill it, or a spell.
It's not my area of expertise.
Not mine either. I guess I could try to make it mine, but I'd have to read all these books. And there's like 100 years of research in here. I don't even know where to start. I wish Nee was here. He would know what to do. Stupid wizard. Or Tanzanite, who knows about water. That'd be helpful. Hope she's all right.
Almost as if summoned, you hear a voice in your head. Trixie? You
Do I hear that?
won't? Shit. I need to. I'm not. Somebody got me. I don't know where I am. And what other words? She shuts off as she like hits her word limit.
You okay over there?
Hi, Tanzanite. I hear you. What can you see or hear? We followed the river stream to where the muck is.
Is she okay?
She said somebody got her and she doesn't know where she is.
That's bad.
No, shit. That's why I asked if she could see or hear anything. I mean,
Okay. You were right behind where I was, or ahead of where I was, or I'm scared. There's something happening. We're moving. It keeps swaying. And
okay, so
She's being really bad at the messaging again, isn't she?
do my best to copy the real player. If you're watching Tanzanite, it's not your fault. It's your charm.
if you can try to look for a landmark or listen for your surroundings, it sounds like you're in a moving thing. We could look. Was that it, or was I have five more?
No. So you don't hear anything back, and even if you choose to wait for a little while, you hear nothing. Spell slot's done.
Okay. So I think she's being moved. She gave me no clues to anything she sees. She said she felt like she was swaying, so she's probably in either
A ship or a...
she's either in a boat or like a carriage or a wagon or something. But
That's wildly unhelpful given our location.
I know. Well, crap. What do we do? What do we do about this? Why does this seem harder than the stupid ice thing?
I guess at least in the ice thing, somebody was giving us options. Now we're just on our own.
That's true.
What happens?
Okay, so you said you said there's books here about this, right?
Yes.
So what do they talk about? Like how it was made?
It's hard to explain. It's about science, like old world science.
Okay, but does it talk about how this stuff was made?
Not that I saw. It was like a general book, like for school, kind of, that I was reading.
Can you say there were journals?
There are a ton
I
of
haven't
journals
read them
here.
yet. I was
Oh,
reading
okay.
that textbook.
Oh. Well, maybe. Sorry, I didn't mean to metagame. I heard journals and I didn't want to like presume, and I did it anyways. Dang it. Well, maybe there is something here that talks about how this was made. And if we can figure out at least how it was made, then maybe we can figure out how to destroy it. Or if we can figure out, like, if it took multiple times trying to make this, then maybe we know what like could make it fail. I don't know. Uh I mean, I can try to help. I can't guarantee I can read it.
I guess it's just a matter of time if you want to wait for me to start reading through a lot of these books. If you just want to like guard the cave, I'll do my best.
Well, okay, so there is one thing I want to do. Um I want to grab not the ashes of the pieces of the vines, but I want to grab the creature that we defeated, who now is canisterless, and I'm going to yoink him over into a corner, and I'm going to
Punch him some more.
no. Okay. Are there any of those that you just absolutely can't use?
Books?
Mm-hmm.
Are there like, is there anything that's just like too faded to read or?
The earliest ones are definitely very beat up and hard to read. And then they progressively get more and more apparent. There's a section that appears to just have deteriorated beyond legibility at all. And it kind of just like, it looks like they're chronologically placed though. The worse off to ones that look fairly fresh.
Okay. I'll just grab one of like the oldest ones that's like in the worst shape and hand it to Trixie.
Do you want this back at all?
I can't read it. It's too old.
Okay. I take it over to the and I like start ripping out the pages and crumbling them up. And then I take flint and strike it and try to burn the body to see if at least destroying that will help with the water.
Okay. So as you light on fire, and the body doesn't catch quickly because
Right.
she ever actually cremated something.
It
No.
needs to be very, very warm. No, I understand. I'm trying to see if like whatever was like attached to it or whatever, like at least.
It doesn't really catch a light. But wherever you've placed heat, you can see that the connection part, the thing that was connected, starts to become more lifelike momentarily. And I'm guessing even in that moment when you do it, you kind of jerk back your hand when you see it like become animate.
Yeah.
And as you jerk back your hand, it flicks away at that section.
Don't understand. I don't know what else like fire destroys things. I don't know.
Just try pouring water on him.
Well, no, because it just makes bad water.
It's just the opposite of fire. I don't know.
I don't have any water left. I emptied out my canteen. Do you have any?
I have a little. That's gonna be a problem too. I guess we should figure that out.
Well, I ain't gonna get it around here.
All right. I'm gonna like start reading the journals, like
Which-
some of like the more recent ones first to see if I can skip to the end.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll another and roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oi.
Alrighty. 12.
Okay. Looking at these, it's extremely confusing. The language written, it just seems like ravings when it does make sense, and it's definitely in modern common. But then there's random phrases from ancient common, and as you're trying to read through and make sense of it, it keeps referencing other people, referencing predecessors and
Freaking trains, man. Sorry.
what?
The trains.
Oh, yeah.
Don't hear that often.
You see some repeated commentary about Max Planck and grafted creatures, and a bunch of other stuff that just doesn't make sense. There's a little bit of terms that are just very strange to you, but like breaking them down, you can even pronounce them and get things like words like chloroplast and photosynthesize. But then other things that make more sense, like exchanges of genetic material, and just dormant and awakened connections, strange ravings. So the last ones are very confusing.
Okay. I'm just gonna like work my way progressively backwards, like looking for mention of like the black tar and like what it's made of. And
It takes you a while to work back, and it's definitely a different person who wrote this. Like, in fact, you probably get to a place where you're just like, skip this section.
Skip the wacko.
And as you work your way back, you can find multiple authors. And it seems that this was some sort of generational enterprise, with the most recent person being the one that possibly either was killed by the creature you saw or was the creature itself. But as you work your way back, you start to find things that make more and more sense. You like read something that's who knows how many years old, but definitely at least 3 or 4 generations of author older, talking about splicing the resistive species that have evolved onto humans to better the chances of human survival. You read some information about this individual considering a superhuman as a thing. You read about some experiments on peoples that had already changed. Some experimentation that resulted in more animalistic humanoids. Some just physical changes to the features. Some changes that resulted in significant changes to life expectancy. And as you can read through this, you can see that like somebody was taking what they witnessed around them and trying to make their own experiment. They were trying to, and you read about some horrific experiments that were done on the various creatures and people that these various authors found. Until you get back to a section where you find a little space where they talk about re-engineering rubber plants and how from one study that they had that maybe it's possible for 2 species to be grafted together and exchange genetic material, and through that grafting and exchange of genetic material eventually bearing fruit to a new species. And some theorizing about how to get subjects for that, but having very little access to any such subjects. And then as it gets further and further back, the writing becomes more sensible but more ancient. And at the same time that it becomes more sensible, it loses a lot of this theorizing about how to change people and becomes much more focused on things like sustainable crop yields and improving the life of folk in an environment that has been overall destroyed, and then eventually get to a place where the ancient is baffling and the material degradation is also hindering it, and you just can't make out and understand what it's saying, except for one statement.
I can almost hear the music of the old world.
Yeah. One statement saying, "My family will continue this work long after I'm gone. We will heal the world." And that's kind of what you can get out of several hours of just digging through this. I would say everybody's up and eligible for a short rest from all this. And during this time, Bonnie has been slowly scraping what material she can out of the room and shucking it into a little bag.
Okay, I guess I misunderstood how much of this stuff there was. I thought there was like
Tons.
okay.
And she's making a tiny little dent.
But she tried. I don't. The people who made all this, like, a long time ago, had good intentions, but I think it got off track somewhere, and they started doing really bad things, like their descendants. But I really don't. All the recent stuff is crazy. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's written by crazy people. It's just rantings and ravings. I don't see anything about how to help this.
Okay, so first of all, hold on. You can make stuff out of nothing, right?
I don't know.
You made that wig of sawdust appear, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So why don't you make water? Or like imagine like a rain cloud or something. I don't know.
I could try.
I mean, what else do we have to lose?
I don't... Hang on, I have to read something. I have to read what performance of creation is actually capable of doing. Wait a second. You can talk to Bonnie while I do that.
So if any of you are curious, bards of creation can be absolutely terrifying because they can literally make up anything in certain situations and make it.
All right. I'm trying to think of like what version of what I'm thinking of Asher could make. Would they have anything like a pressure washer in Overton? That's what I'm thinking of.
I'm thinking that, especially at the Artificers College, where you spent some of your time trying to figure out what you were going to do and be, you would have seen these pumped bellow style things. One that was definitely an installed gadget with tons of copper pipes and stuff, but others that were just like mobile, that required physical effort to get started and going.
Okay. Essentially what I want is like something with like a pressure, like a fire hose that I can just like wash this place out. But
what you can recall is a little bit more like what our modern day insecticides cans get pumped up. That could be afforded by your current level with this. The heavier duty things that you saw at the Artificers College would be a little big, maybe huge.
all right, so I'm gonna create, yeah, like a big tank of water that you can like wear on your back, like as large as I'm allowed to, and like a hose that I can like pump and pressurize.
All right. Yeah, so as you kind of like picture that, what does it look like you going through this performance of creation?
I'm just like thinking because I don't even know how this works, and I'm like, where nothing exists, my words can create something. Like right over there, and then it just like it appears like sitting there,
So if you're a listener, you don't
and
know
I'm just like looking like, oh, that worked.
You did it before. Why wouldn't it work?
I don't know. I wasn't sure that I didn't dream that. Um,
So for those of you who are listening, if you've never done the Bard of Creation, you can have an item that can't be more than 20 times your bard's level. It has to be medium or smaller at the levels that he's at, or at level 6 it can be large. Actually, I think so.
medium
You
and 6, I think.
can do, at level 6 you can do large,
Oh, okay.
and at level 14 it can be huge. It
Oh, no.
cannot be magical.
That means I just made one with a tank I probably can't lift. Oops.
Yeah. And it can only have one item at a time until you get Creative Crescendo at 14, where you can actually go crazier. So basically there's a backpack of water hose pressure land that he definitely can't pick up.
Now I'm just gonna be like, wait, give me your canteen. I'm just gonna be like, just like squirt it like low pressure and fill all the canteens. Now, okay, you ready? I'm just gonna,
Ready
like,
for what? Ready for
I'm
what?
gonna, like pump it up as much as I can, just like spray the black goo and see what happens.
All right. So you watch him first, like grab your canteen and start filling it up with water that's somehow in this container, and then hands it back to you, and then fills up his own, fills up Bonnie's,
Good idea.
and then he starts just hand cranking the pump and trying to spray, and hand cranking the pump and trying to spray, and it does seem to make some progress. Bonnie stops what she's doing and steps back as some of the goop tries to like land on her. And as you rinse it off, you can see that the goop is all pooling to a central area. But where you're spraying it away and off of that area. And it's just taking a little bit of time because you're constantly trying to pump and spray.
Okay.
and spray.
Can I help?
Can you pump the thing and I'll spray?
Yes.
'Kay.
Okay. And I don't know if it's like where it is in relation to it, but I'm assuming it's probably either as tall as or like to me it looks like I'm holding a jackhammer instead of what's technically a bike pump is like half of my height. So
Yeah, I mean, this is like the size of a slightly larger bike pump for the pump mechanism.
yeah.
But then there's the much bigger contraption that is the container of the
Yeah.
liquid and this hose. So between the two of you, you can't really move the contraption, but you can move the hose and aim it in different locations. So working together, it speeds up the process quite a bit because your muscles and strength, and you're really getting after it. Bonnie kind of backs off a little further even as this is all going on because you're creating quite the mess of splatter back up. But what happens as you're doing this is you reveal that there's a drain. And this black goop has been dripping from in this cave down into the drain.
Can you get it away? Do we wash it down or do we like just get it away and then
Maybe we just plug the drain and leave it so it doesn't get into the water?
I mean, there's still water coming down. It's gonna still drip into it, don't you think?
I guess it'll just... Any plug that we made would probably wash out eventually. Maybe if we just wash it all out and then like it'll stop. I
I mean, I just don't know if it's just gonna move the problem from here to wherever that goes.
don't know. This was my plan.
I know, no. I appreciate it because it seems like it's at least doing something that doesn't make it come back to life.
Can I like see down the drain now, or
Go ahead and peer down and roll a perception check to see what you can see.
I'll get my torch and light it again and like hold it over. 12.
You can see that there's still goop down there, and the water that you've pushed down is like kind of, it's like a backed up toilet. You're just getting it to go down further.
I don't know. I think we should just clean it out. Let it go down.
Okay.
It might be like worse for a minute, but then it's done, right?
I don't know.
Um,
Okay.
I didn't want to say this because it's a little sensitive, but don't your people put acid on your food?
Acid.
Yeah. That's what it's called, right?
Acid.
Hot.
Acid? What do you mean
It's
by
the stuff that burns?
Like hot sauce?
what does it look like?
Well, I've only watched somebody do it once. They were on a boat. It was yellow, and they squeezed it all over my friend Sandy.
Keep it together, man. Jesus.
He's breaking character.
Like mustard or
Was it in a container or was it what did it look like?
like a lemon? Like a fruit.
Yeah, that's the gesture.
Okay. What about it?
It burns, but it doesn't burn.
Well, it stings. Like if you get it in a cut.
And it melts away. It definitely.
I remember from a class I slept through once that it can like disintegrate things over time. if it's like concentrated enough.
Lemon can?
Acid can, like from the
Could we
lemon.
get some of that, put it down there too, and speed it up?
I don't know where we would get them. Unless we ran back to town, but like that will take ages.
Well, it only took a few hours. It was mostly running into the big crab and then the sleeping and then the cave.
I would try to make some, but I don't think I can do that again today. That took a lot out of me.
Well, what if we like can I gauge what time it is?
You're in a cave. Go ahead. and
Yeah,
roll-
but we had just gone out to
roll an intelligence check.
we had just gone out to try the black goop thing. An intelligence check? Oh
Yeah.
dear. That's a 6.
I am a very smart
When you were
squirrel.
outside, the sun was high.
Okay.
You've been down here.
Couple hours because no, I guess I don't know. Well, the question is whether we're going to be able to find this place again.
I could probably find it again, I think. I'm pretty good at finding places.
Okay.
But
Well, maybe between the two of us. The other thing is, I don't know if the two little things, whatever they were, the one that ate the bacon, live here, but we might want to figure that out before we leave.
Oh. I told them to go home.
This isn't their home?
Well, they left.
Okay.
So I don't think so.
Okay. Okay.
But I told them to go home.
What were they?
That was okay?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I assumed that they were they. I don't know why they were helping this creature, but
I don't really know either, but they kind of look like the cats, and I thought they were okay.
they kind of looked like the cats.
Yeah. Bigger teeth. And shaggier. And bigger claws. They would make really good fish. Lots of teeth. Lots of barbs.
Lots of barbs.
Yeah. It's good self-defense.
I'm gonna draw in the dirt on the ground a porcupine and say, "Is that what they look like?"
No. That would be really cool fish.
I don't
Nobody
understand.
would put any of that lemon on a fish like that.
I don't understand what you mean by barbs.
You know, the barbs that some... She kind of looks at your hand, pause for a second. Do you have claws?
I mean, I have like tipped nails, so like think of like a dog's,
Yeah, like better ones than those.
but just on the paws.
Yeah.
was it I didn't see them very well. Was it a dog? A wolf?
I draw a picture of at least a wolf's head with like the snout.
She goes and
Then
she
I
starts
draw more teeth.
smudging some things. And she draws the front teeth really long. And then she makes the ears floppier. And then she draws two tails at the end. Without the body being there, she just draws two tails.
Was it like those things that attacked us in the village?
No.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure what they are. But they were
They
pretty
might not-
smart.
They might not be From what I was reading here, they might not be any kind of animal we would know.
Hmm.
Like he might have made them. He might have put two different kinds of animals together to make
Oh.
them.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. They were doing very weird things in here.
I don't like that at all. Well, hopefully they're okay. And you said you thought they were smart?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully they're okay, and hopefully they don't hurt anybody else. Not that they hurt us, but hopefully they don't hurt anyone.
Yeah, I think the bigger one was worried about the younger one.
I mean, that would make sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So are we gonna scoop this all up and take it down?
We can't scoop. What scoop? In what?
Well, you got that big container we can put it in now.
Is it empty?
As a DM, you can look and check if the
Well, I would assume that I probably, even though I was talking, I had still kept pumping unless you said to stop.
the container's probably like more than halfway empty at this point, and you've got a lot more cleanup to do before it's done.
I don't. Do we finish washing and then go get stuff to clear the drain, or do we?
Honestly, I think we should leave it because I worry wherever that water goes, if this just goes with it, then we're just moving the problem somewhere else.
Okay. Let's go do that.
Okay, Bonnie, I think we should just leave it as it is right now, unless
We could put the fruit in with the water, and then it'll mix up and become like acidic water, and then we could use it to spray the rest of the stuff and maybe disintegrate it.
okay. Still need the lemons.
Let's go.
Okay. Okay. I feel like the question was whether or not we were going to leave the stuff here or if we were going to try to move it into the tank. So that was weird. Okay, never mind. Let's go.
Are we coming back to try to fix this?
Yes. Well, we have to go get the lemons,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Okay. How many are we gonna be needing?
A lot.
I think we should all bring as much as we all can carry or / find.
Is there anything worse than lemons? More awful?
Lie? Like soap? Do they make soap from it? Lie.
I don't know if we make soap from that. We make soap from fat.
Well, let's go back to town, see what we can come up with.
Okay.
And then
Okay. I mean, they eat a lot of fish there. Right?
yeah.
I mean, that's what I had. But I don't know. I know what lemons are. I don't know. I don't know that I've ever had anything like specifically flavored with lemon.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
So as you head on out, early
Excuse
twilight.
me, DM, is there a fast travel point near here?
Yes, this is it right now.
I wish.
early twilight, and you realize, like, kind of looking at this situation with the slowly setting sun, but not quite at set yet, that if you hurry, you can make it to town before dark. So kind of rushing, backtracking your way down, you arrive at the gates of the town, the palisade at least, and you can hear something raucous is going on inside again. It sounds like some sort of fight. Drunken stupidity.
Please don't be the guards. Please don't be the guards. Please don't be the guards. I don't want to kick anybody's butt. Please don't be the guards. Please don't be the guards.
This is inside where?
Just over the palisade wall, you can hear
Oh,
the,
okay.
Like in town.
in
There-
town.
There's the gate's still open. Like we can still.
Yeah, you can see that there's like a board member of the guard is sitting there and doesn't even look up as you pass by.
Okay.
And when you do come inside, you can see that there's a whole bunch of the guards drunkenly fighting each other.
I'll be like, all right. I'm just gonna like skirt around that because I don't care.
Roll a stealth check just so to see if they don't pull you in. Okay. Are you doing the same thing, or are you?
I don't necessarily know if I would sneak. I would probably
18.
like try to walk by and like
Yeah, I wasn't
dodge if I need
necessarily
to.
sneaking, but just trying to go around it.
I just wanted to see how, since you definitely were going around it,
18.
you're fine. You're just gonna walk through it.
I'm not walking through it. I will walk like on the outskirt and just like keep an eye out for flailing limbs.
Okay. Roll a. Just roll a sneak. A sneak. Roll a stealth check as well. Just
Roll a sneak. Oh. 6.
Okay. I would like you to roll 2 dexterity saving throws.
Okay. Come on.
There's definitely worse saving throws for you to roll. So
First one's a 19.
Okay, you dodge an elbow at one point,
Oh dear. That's a nat 1.
oh boy.
and as you kind of make your way past where you dodge that elbow, a whole body comes flying at you and flaps you up against the fence. Do you do anything about this besides, I'm guessing, crawl out from behind the body?
Ow. No, I'm just gonna like brush myself off and like I'm assuming he probably smelled, so like
Oh, you smelled deliciously of booze. That stale type that wasn't too well to begin with.
I like try to shake it off and keep walking.
All right, so
I take any damage.
I'm not gonna let you take any damage, but you
Okay.
definitely now have the smell of booze plastered on your fur.
Ugh.
So you make your way past this ruckus. Where are you going?
I'm going to the bookshop.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if there's any produce stands that
Unless I see anybody along the way that I know, so that I'm famous and everyone in this town is my friend.
Okay. Roll a perception check just to see who you pick up. Roll a perception check on whether or not you spot any produce places.
10.
12.
You don't encounter any produce places that are open.
Mm.
You see the places where they stand during daylight hours.
Mm.
But farmers get things fresh in the morning. They don't stay that long through the day. It's best to get it early. So you don't really see anything in that space. And it kind of maybe occurs to you a little bit that you didn't really see citrus here. But that may not mean anything. They might have citrus. As you walk along, you do get some nods and greetings. You get one drunk who just stumbles up to you. You made this a better place. And they kind of just keep following you.
Thanks. Say, is there a plumber in this town?
That's that. They kind of belch in it so you can feel the belch hit you.
I just like
I
just pressed to digitate.
I don't know. But I'm pretty good at handling my own toilet, but
I'm sure that you are.
I can help you out if you want me to.
I think we're okay.
Oh no, I'm gonna stay with you. You're funny.
Oh boy.
As we're
What have I
walking, I am going to get even with this person, and then I'm going to attempt to trip them,
Okay.
but with the intention of like being like, "Oh my God, are you okay? Maybe you should sit down." Why is
Roll a
it
sleight of-
spicy?
I just drank the ginger and I didn't even breathe it in this time either. Roll a sleight of hand check. That's what we're gonna call this right now.
Can I get advantage because he's absolutely
Oh, he
sloshed?
has disadvantage on his roll. So
Oh, okay,
don't worry
okay,
about that.
okay, okay. That's a nat 1.
Okay. What would be your modifier if you got to use it for the sleight of hand moment?
Oh, wait.
This is now modifier versus modifier.
Is he also
My
that one?
sleight of hand is +4.
He would have gotten a 16 if he hadn't had to.
Roll a disadvantage.
Okay, so he does fall over. You trip a bit too,
Mm-hmm.
and you kind of go for a tumble, but you're able to recover.
Okay.
He trips and he stays down. And there's a moment where you're like, did I kill him? And you hear oh, I should just stay here, like you said. It's pretty in here. And you hear as he sneezes out a little bit of the dirt from the street.
I'm gonna take his arm and put it under his head so he's not inhaling dirt.
Recovery position.
Yeah. And that way, if he also vomits, then maybe he's okay.
I'm gonna touch him and just be like, I know we're great friends. Can you do me a favor and go home to sleep? And cast Charm Person on him.
What's the save on that? Never mind.
15.
I need new dice.
He does not seem like a wise person.
Oh no, and he rolled a 4. I'm not gonna. The highest modifier he could possibly have would be another 4. So no, he's going home
Okay. Good.
slowly and drunkenly. It's a hard compellation right there. See if he makes it. Oh wait, is he still walking?
I was gonna say.
14.
He's no longer walking.
Oh,
No, he is walking. Dang it, no.
I can't remember what the DC was. Oh no, it's 15, right? Because it was Charm Person. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
his is literally a straight roll. Suffering. That poor dude that we've now manufactured the excuse that term person's going to last forever on him. Still walking in the direction of nowhere. So yeah, you get.
He's gonna get to the mayor.
He's gonna get to the mayor. He's gotta go talk to the mayor. Like nothing's gonna stop at this moment. You get to the bookshop. It's open, oddly enough. And Fawn and murder. Sticky's gone with the names of my NPCs. I lost it earlier.
Oh no.
Murder. Maynor.
That sounds close.
Maynor. I don't know. Fawn's there. Myrna.
Fawn and M.
Fawn and Miss M. Miss M being the one who is the proprietress. Fawn being the assistant.
This
So-
is what happens when none of us are note takers, and the note taker is gone.
Well, I have all the notes. Just I lost my sticky note. Those are my fast notes.
Oh, is the door open?
Yeah,
we
it's
can- okay.
it's open.
Okay, so we're gonna come in and be like, "Hello,
Oh, you're back.
I need a plumber or a high volume fruit vendor. One of the two."
Or maybe you could tell us something that is more acid than lemon.
Or
Is that right?
Oh, of course.
If I need to clear a
We're
drain, what would
farm
I use?
community. Well,
If you had like a clogged culvert, how would you clear that?
we always burn the ash down and make lye.
Nope, can't use.
Lie.
Okay, I don't know what lye is.
Oh, you've never used it before.
No.
We make soap with it.
Okay. We don't make soap with that, but okay. But so it's acid?
Yeah,
It burns.
it burns away stuff. It burns away bodies if you ask the right people.
I'm sorry.
It's,
You wash with this?
well,
I mean, you mix it with other stuff in the soap,
Yeah.
and then it's
I mean,
And it doesn't dissolve that stuff.
no.
well,
Chemistry is
Have
weird.
you ever had like pickles or olives or some of our?
Trixie just looks at Asher like, I don't know. Have I eaten those things since you met me?
She hasn't had a lot of food experiences. Do you have pickles? You should let her try pickles.
Yeah.
It sounds like a fun word.
I'll pay you.
Pickles.
Well, I'm sure you had to use lie, but you may not have known what it was.
I just don't remember there being any. I mean, also like we don't.
So,
We mostly use like plants to make like
well, that's all lie is. You just burn down the wood and use the ash, mix it with the oils and the fats, and you have soap.
right, but we didn't. It was just
Here, I have a whole book on it. And she shoves a book into your hands. It's soap making for dummies.
I hand it to Asher because I don't do the reading thing. I mean, I can read some, but it's not really.
Well, we have a lie maker. They right outside of town because
It smells.
yeah.
Okay.
You-
Are
I
they
thought you
open
were
at
from a
night?
big city.
No, not me. Specifically,
She lives in the woods district.
I grew up in the trees.
Oh yeah, they don't like us burning down their ash trees.
No.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Well, yeah. We have whole lie works. It's how half of the produce gets to Overton, which you don't eat. Makes me wonder who's actually eating. Well, never mind. I know who's eating it all. Kira. And Fern comes out. She hands you this long green stick that's
Fawn.
Fawn. What did I call her this time?
Fern.
Fern.
Oh, you're pulling from Critical Role. Ashley Johnson's
Oh,
character in
no.
no. Oh.
Fern Gully. I have other
Oh.
problems. I have stupid animations in my head.
Ferngully is not okay.
It's a good animation,
Thank you.
but I have stupid names stuck in my head because I used Fern Gully for some ideas.
It's fine.
It wiggles as she jiggles it. Pickle.
Oh.
I mean, if that's okay. And she looks at Miss M. Oh, yeah.
What? Okay. Stop wiggle so I can grab it.
It kind of splashes you a little bit when she wiggles it.
Ow!
It hurts.
Ow!
It's vinegar.
Ow!
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Ow! I got it in my ow!
Here, do you want another one?
I can't
She's-
eat it. It hurts.
Just try it.
Put it in your mouth.
Trust me.
It's gonna burn good.
Do I like eat the? I don't understand. Like I just bite it?
Yeah.
Like a piece of.
Like it's a piece of jerky or a...
Grabs your hand and half of it to her mouth.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't like. I didn't know if I had to like eat just the middle or if I had to peel it or. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I definitely know. Oh.
As someone who hates pickles, I'm totally in the mode of this.
I'm gonna lick it
It's
first.
hard for Larissa because Larissa loves pickles.
I'm gonna lick the spot that Fawn took a bite off of because I don't germs are germs. I don't care. And so I lick it and I'm like, oh. What? Why? I mean, it's not. That's so weird. Like, does it just grow like that? It just.
Can I give her the egg?
No, what?
Dressing. There's an egg that can also undergo the same process, and it's an acquired taste. Let's let you settle into this first.
Okay, and I just like start taking like small nibbles. Ooh, that's fun.
It's growing on you, isn't it?
I don't know about the taste. It's really, really
Tangy?
mm,
Sour?
is that what it's called? I don't know. It makes my jaw go.
Never a better description for a pickle effect.
And and I got a lot of spit in my mouth, but I don't hate it. It's just weird. But I like the crunchiness. That's kind of fun. And then I take like a big like side and I just chew it loudly because I don't really know how to like deal with that much in my mouth now, but I'm not going to actually make those noises out of respect for you.
Meanwhile, yeah, thank you. Meanwhile, Zem is jotting down a little note for you and hands to you. They'll be open now.
Okay.
They like to keep the fire stoked overnight and ready for the morning customers.
Okay. Do you want to go now or do you want to go in the morning? I feel like if we go now, we won't have to deal with customers. Other than, what do we do with a bunch of lie overnight? Should we sleep and then do it in the morning?
Can we just... Sorry, real life Larissa had to burp. I mean, I could try to... What?
It's the pickles.
The pickles? Pickles?
No. He does not get any recognition here. I mean, I could try to find my way back with my goggles, because I can see in the dark ish,
Okay.
and then we don't have to wait.
All right. Do you have a wagon we could borrow?
What are you
A
doing?
wagon? Why do we
We
need...
are clearing out some magical gunk that we found that's polluting the river, and I think it's causing the red blight stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, we found where that was coming from. We were looking for our friend, but we didn't find her, but we did find this. Also, there was a very big crab.
Yeah,
I look at Bonnie. Crab.
there's a giant crab that was eating the red plants, and
And then he made it very small, and then I tried to throw it, and I didn't get to throw it very far.
I didn't. I do admit that when I try to get out, I don't leave the city walls. So I don't think I've seen this, but
Well, you've seen the red stuff in the water, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's
But that's what you were fixing, and you saw a giant crab. That
Yeah.
was causing all the problems.
no. It was eating a lot of it,
it was caused by...
It was in our
the
way.
problem.
Oh,
so we had to like move it to get past it, and then
so you evicted a giant crab, and then you solved the water problems.
we're
Um,
trying
I
to.
think if we can get the lie, we can solve the water problems.
There's something where the water's coming from that's, I think for a second, it's making the water sick. So but we can't burn it, which is very frustrating because for me that's how you get rid of stuff, is you burn it.
You should come with us. There's like a whole
There's lots of
shelf
books.
of books there. Like
If you
shelves
bring
of-
if you have a wagon we can borrow, that's what we could trade is
it's like,
books.
It's like 1,000 years of science books. Some of them are older than what you have back there.
Roll a persuasion check since you're both working it, and you did that so flawlessly
With
together.
advantage.
You do have advantage.
I was gonna say.
I rolled like crap regardless. But I am me, so it's still a 17.
You can see the two of you tuned up on that way too well. You can see that she kind of gets a far away look in her eyes, and she kind of looks over at Fawn. Okay.
Like honestly, if you don't take the books, I'm gonna destroy them because there's some dangerous things in them, and so somebody needs to watch, like protect them.
She immediately starts going around and closing up cupboards and putting things away. Be ready in a minute. I'll rent a Fawn. Yeah.
Fun, yes.
Go talk to the miller. We need to rent his wagon again.
Do you have money for that? Like, is
Oh,
that gonna like?
Fine, we
Okay.
have a negotiation.
Okay.
His kids to learn.
Okay, so we came from this direction, and I point to the direction that we came from. Is the lie people that way?
No, and she kind of points at the note she had handed you. They're on that side of the wall, and she kind of. The idea is that it's as you came in originally on the lake and you saw the dock to the right, there were fields. They're on the edge of that side. That side where the red contamination was coming down would be the opposite side of the.
Okay, so it's not in the way. Okay. Okay. Okay.
So it's literally a bounce back and forth.
Okay.
I'll meet you at the lie
Place
Okay.
With the wagon. Okay.
Okay.
works.
Okay.
You know where we're going?
Yes. She wrote it on the thing, right?
She wrote like a brief description with notes, but there's something else inside of it that very much gives you the sense this is meant to be a message for the person you're being delivered to.
Okay. All right. We will go in the direction of the lie smith or whatever.
Yeah, you make your way through town to the works, the lie works, and it's very much outside of the town. So I don't know if anybody else in the world has actually been around a lie works, but it's a horrifying thing.
I've been around lie. That's enough.
Yeah, lie is enough.
My only experience to lie is
That time you killed that guy and had to melt him in your bathtub.
no,
Oh.
is lutefisk.
Lutefisk is lovely. I don't know why people have such a thing against lutefisk. So, anyways, before anybody can correct me,
Mark a notch in the serial killer column.
woohoo! I had an anti-serial killer moment earlier today, so that's good.
Yep. Right now the slate is even.
So, you get to the lie works, which stink.
That's a whole other podcast.
There's a whole ash works, like they're literally burning things down to ash, and the ash is being used to create the lie. And there's a bunch of people very busily at work, but they very much do this at night, both because of how it affects people during the day, and also just to. Are you okay, Boomer? Trying to find a comfy spot.
She's just nesting. She's fine.
But also just it's easier to run around in what they're wearing at night when nobody's watching, which is they are wearing very, very little and being very careful of what their bodies touch. So it's just a very strange space. Everybody appears to be very
naked.
undressed. But they all have strange goggles on. And their mouths are masked.
I'm gonna like slow down and be like, I don't know if we should walk in there. Everybody's wearing a breathing stuff.
And I put my hands around my mouth and I go, "Hello?"
One of the masks looks up at you, does a shooing motion, and then begins walking in your direction.
So we take a few more steps back, I guess.
When they kind of leave the area where they're really working with the material, and they're not one of the people who's burning stuff, who seem to be wearing more clothes. The people who are actually burning stuff seem to be dressed fully. They very carefully take a brush that they pick up and start brushing off their skin. And then they come up to you all as they slowly put on some light clothing. And you can see even as they're putting on, their skin is pretty reddened.
As they come up, I'm like, why did they brush themselves? They don't have fur.
I think they're brushing off the lie because it burns.
Oh. I thought it was a liquid.
That's like a powder.
Oh. Okay.
And you see this very, very reddened skinned individual come up to you.
Hi.
Yeah.
I have this note from the bookstore owner, and we would like to purchase some lye to help us fix what's wrong with the river.
Wait. You're gonna fix the river?
We're gonna try.
But we need a bunch of
How
lye.
much do you need?
I'm gonna describe to him like the drain and like the room and like what we're trying to do, and then like ask for his expertise as to how much we would need.
Quite quickly, he's like hurting people up and says, "No charge.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
You're helping us."
okay. Okay. She's bringing a wagon. Because we weren't sure how much we would need, but also there's other stuff there.
Oh, if we could just get rid of those people from Overton, she'd be the mayor. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Which people from
The
Overton?
guards?
The mayor of Overton keeps sending all these people that just screw around with the town.
How do you mean?
First, they hired all those mercenaries as guards. That luckily we're not in there, so we don't have to deal with them most of the time. But they keep sending out auditors for the fields, like we're part of that town. But they have too much power, so we can't stop them.
We'll add that to the list, I guess.
Yeah.
We've tried to deal with the guards a little bit. We'll do what we can.
I'm
If
hoping.
somebody could get on the other end of this and put a bug in their ear, whoever's in charge over there, to leave us alone, you're our only customers, really. The only other customer we have is. And they kind of look up to you and they shut down a little bit.
That's all right. We're not welcome in Overton right now, so we're kind of on your team.
Yeah. Still better not to talk to people who.
That's fine. You don't know
You're
us.
helping us, but
Yeah.
Oh, wait, is
no,
it the
that's-
other people that? Oh, Asher knows this. Jason doesn't. What's the town we're supposed to go negotiate with?
Huh?
oh,
The druids in the forest?
Like
no.
the one that Tanzanite's dad sent us to go negotiate a trade deal with.
did I say the name of that town?
No.
Didn't think I
I
did.
feel like someone must have told us if they wanted us to. I must be in
They
the
gave you
documents they gave me.
a marking on a map, I think. Is what they
Yeah.
gave you,
Um.
I think.
So,
Do I need
well,
to ask you what the primary trade good is so I can name the town? Because we got Fisherton, Overton, Underton.
well, okay. So in terms of the guards, so my,
I remember the name of it though. Not that it matters for this situation, but
Okay, I'm gonna look, throw my bag on the ground, and pull out the contract, or that they gave us, or the documents they gave us, and look for the name of the town.
as you hold that up, are you like protecting it and keeping it? He kind of leans over, curiosity and whatnot, and he kind of, no, that's not the town.
All right.
That's really far away. You're gonna,
Uh.
you probably pass by.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes.
We won't get in your business. It's fine.
Yeah.
You seem like nice people.
yeah, we're not. We're from around Overton, but we're not. Like, I didn't grow up in Overton. Yeah, we're not. They're not happy with us right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so if we could get some lye on the wagon when Miss M shows up, then and I'm hoping I can find my way back in the dark.
Yeah. And then as he's even having this conversation, you can hear the rattling of a hand cart style wagon, not pulled by an animal, but pulled
Yeah.
by a person.
Yeah.
Coming up and pulls up, and immediately people begin putting fairly large bags of material that comes from a different storage unit, that not out in the milieu of where things are being worked on, but they begin shoving it in there. And you even hear a couple of conversations like, oh, I might be starting to sweat, I gotta go, and then running off into a little rinse and then drying themselves off very, very carefully, and then other people kind of doing the same thing. And even as you're watching, you're like, they're all very reddened in the skin, but you also start to notice that they have a kind of sheen to their skin with small scales, not like a fish, but definitely tiny little scales on their skin. and they're working really hard at loading up the wagon. The wagon's loaded up pretty quickly.
Okay, so I am an entertainer by nature. So can you just tell me how lye works? Like, what to clear this drain? What do I do with it? Just dump it down there, or do I need to mix it with something?
Well, I mean, if you need it to speed up, you can damp it down a little bit or add some oil. But
Tiny penis syndrome.
motorcycles. Oh, yeah. Or if you want a more explosive reaction, you could put some metals down there, like
I don't know that we necessarily want to make things explode. I think we just want to.
Yeah, I think we just want to dissolve all the bad stuff.
yeah, just put it in there and let it work on its own. If whatever you're dealing with,
So if we should
Dissolve.
spread it around in the cave on all over the stuff, and then wait a while and then rinse it off, and also
No.
put it down the drain.
just leave it.
Is it going to affect any water that might be nearby? Is it going to make it bad
No,
for you?
It's been good for.
It'll get diluted, right? In the
It's not bad when it's diluted to. I mean, it's only bad when it's directly on. It's bad on skin, but like,
The powder, but it's
Yeah.
okay if it hits water?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, if it's okay, well, if you're wet and it hits you, there's a higher chance of you getting burned, but it doesn't burn the water.
Okay, so if it mixes with the water, is it going to hurt like rock or like is it
Only if it's metal, aluminum, and bronze, and
okay? I think
I think it was just dirt and clay and rock. I
I
don't know.
we'll figure it out. But that's helpful. Thank you.
yeah. I mean, if you do hit metal, just there's a gas that combusts, and it's, I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's also, I mean, we kind of eat a little bit of it.
You eat what?
Metal and a lie.
Hmm.
And like
Okay.
turns a little bit, and you can see them like pop a tablet of something into their mouth, and when they turn back, burst of flame comes out of his mouth.
Cool trick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll give you heartburn.
Yeah. It's
Oh, okay.
it's something we seem to have picked up a few generations ago. So
Oh, well, I
You know,
suppose
like,
that would
that's
be
fun.
useful. You guys should also look into. Well, I guess I don't know how often you can do that, but you should build a blacksmith right next to you.
that seems dangerous.
And breathing fire, is it?
Well, it's kind of awesome. But, okay.
It is awesome.
I mean,
I'm trying to
yeah.
think of what you could do with it instead of just being a party trick, but or burning people. But
Oh, we can't do it that often.
oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, just an idea. Sorry.
Although secretly we call ourselves young dragons,
Oh, that's cool.
because dragons breathed fire in the old stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old stories where dragons live. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, how cool would that be? If
I go to
dragons
walk
were-
over to Miss M.
Yeah, I would hope I see one someday. Gotta go. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, thank you. You're
bye.
saving the whole town. So thank you. Sweet. You can kind of hear them all gathering around. One's like, "Why the fuck would you do that? You wasted your fire for the day." But yeah, you can try to make your way back. You would have disadvantage because of the night. You have goggles on, so you have
So is it a
regular
flat roll?
there. You're both working together to try to figure it out. So let's go ahead and say with advantage, roll a survival check.
Your survival's higher than mine.
I think so.
Got a +1.
+6.
If you're still with us this late at night, we are going late tonight because none of us have to work in the morning.
Yeah, we're on vacation.
And
Thank
if
you,
Even
thank you again
just
for
for
tuning
one
into this
day.
episode of Dungeons and Plumbing.
Okay.
Plumbing and Dragons.
Okay. That's a 24,
Okay.
and that's a 17.
So the 24 definitely gets you there. You make remarkable time. A little bit of rough points where what you remember of the travel seems like a bad situation for a wagon until you recall that there are parts of the stream bed that you could just go down now.
Yeah.
Now there's not a giant crab blocking the way. And you make it to the cave opening. A little difficulty navigating the handcart in there. But with 5 of you, Fawn, Miss M, Bonnie, and the 2 of you, you're able to get it navigated in without having to unload and do like some sort of brigade version of this experience.
I'm gonna be like, Bonnie. Well, she gets the books taken care of. Can you make us some gloves to handle the lie with from your fabric? Or mittens?
yeah. She's gonna roll
We get gloves or
dexterity.
we get
check.
gloves or oven mitts, depending.
Um,
Oven mitt.
No, you actually get some seaweed driving gloves.
Hopefully they're dried out now, because shit.
Have to see. You might want to toast them first.
Yeah. Well,
You want to toast a
dry them
nori
over the
version.
fire. Yeah.
um,
I assume we can get our campfire going outside and everything, and
Yeah,
dry the
easily
stuff
enough.
out and
I think like over the course of time, Miss M collecting books, you can do whatever you want to do in this time.
Yeah.
But I'm
I think we'll
Basically
set our
suggesting
camp
that
up.
you're-
She can like be transporting the books outside, and then we'll load the wagon
You're-
after.
doing an
Yeah.
entire evening's worth of work.
yeah, I'm gonna
Straight through.
I'm gonna work on scraping away the tar so that it's all kind of in one area, and to make sure that it's not touching any metal. Like, I don't know exactly what it was kind of all on.
Yeah, just do a strength check to see how long it takes you to do all that.
Okay. Oh. That is not a saving throw. That's a dirty 20.
Okay, yeah. It only takes you 3 of the 6 hours of evening.
I just want to get it like all on a spot so that I can. Or, bless you.
Allergy season. It's after me.
But like
Try to
if
get
there's
the
an
button
open-ish space that I can not pile it. Gosh dang it, not pile it, but kind of almost like spread it out so it's in an even layer so that it'll be easier to kind of. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
with
yeah.
my shovel.
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. I mean, you have a shovel, so it's pretty easy to do that. Yeah, you're all set, ready to start putting this stuff out. Dried gloves, shovel, etc. Are you just gonna start shoving it onto the
Yeah.
material?
I mean, like, can you touch the bags without it like injuring you? That they're in? Like, I think we'll just like take the bags and like pour it over. I'll probably pour one whole bag like down the drain.
So as you pour the first bag down the drain, you hear and smell some sort of chemical reaction. And it sifts down kind of slowly after a little bit. And then you have this kind of glom of lye over the top. And it slowly seems to go down. The smell is horrendous. If you thought the smell of lye was bad, this is reaching new peaks. This is luda hell for the lutefisk person, but as someone who smelled lutefisk or lye, there's this reaction as the fats are burned away. And eventually it all sifts down through there over the course of a couple hours. And you look down exhausted because it has been a day and a bit.
So we have literal exhaustion by this
Yeah.
point.
Yes. You're not going to get away with a night of
But we had a
work
short
without getting
rest.
Exhaustion. Exhaustion is exhaustion. You're working overnight. And as you look down, you can see that the drain appears to be clear. But you still have all the other junk around.
All right, now the other patch.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just cover up anything that's left and maybe douse the. Well, what's the chemistry station made of? Before I go throwing a lie all over it to ruin it.
There's various glassware and bits and various chemical compounds and dried out random things.
Would there be like enough metal to cause a problem? That would be my concern.
I would say that it looks like a combination of a high school chemistry lab and somebody's version of a witch's hovel. Very little metal.
Okay.
And what there is seems to be very corroded and beat up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like douse the whole kit and caboodle and lie, just ruin it so that nobody could find it and start to use it.
Yeah. Could I have both of you just roll dexterity checks to make sure that you aren't accidentally
Lying to ourselves.
pouring it on your skin?
Oh, I definitely did. 7.
It's a dex save or dex check?
Just dex check.
19.
You're both fine. You do have a few spots of burns and stuff like that. None of it's gone into your eye. You don't have any burns at all. Your like fur is pristine. You're just like, oh yeah.
Although we all smell like lie, so it doesn't matter.
You smell terrible. And yeah, the evening is beyond evening. It's beyond night. And the new day is dawning as you kind of finish up this task in the dark of the cave.
Be like, all right, Bonnie, you check the water again.
Why don't we rest first?
I suppose we could give it more time to work. Okay. Camp out. Hey, Sam, you cool to camp out?
It'd be nice to camp out and air out. Oof.
All of a sudden, you see Asher over there. I don't know why, like, Asher's prestidigitation is like wiping off a glass, but it is.
Because you can only. Go to sleep. It's fine. The air will help. Go to sleep.
The whole campsite is just embedded in that smell, and it takes a little bit to get comfortable. But Nazim and Fawn both are exhausted because they helped you throughout the night. And as they were helping and working with you, they did talk to each other, but also to you about the gift that this is to the town, that you found out what was causing the current problem. Even saying things like, you know, words gets out, you're going to be town heroes. Your names are going to be known.
Any chance we could, like, say, I don't know. We don't want them to know we're here. We were here, right?
I'll be a hero. It's cool.
I'm just worried that they're going to send people after us if they find out we're here.
Who?
The people from Overton that are upset with us. The mayor,
The mayor's a moron.
That doesn't dispute the fact that he can still control people. And he's a creep, too.
I should
tried to
run for
kiss us.
mayor.
Potato people.
Potato peeling son of a bitch. All right. Let's go to sleep.
All right.
I'll take first watch. Sucking on,
Pickles.
no, on syrup to get me through the 4 hours of my,
All right. So go ahead and roll with
the
whatever
equivalent of a Red Bull.
whatever your exhaustion lets you roll with. If that's disadvantage, go ahead and roll that, but roll a perception check.
I don't remember. Level 1.
I believe it's disadvantage on ability checks, which your perception would be, but I'm not sure because you are squirrely.
Yeah. So disadvantage on which perception?
Perception.
Oh dear. That really didn't matter. That's what I rolled.
Okay.
For those listening at home, I rolled a 2 and a nat 1.
And
Couldn't
thus,
see shit.
that shift goes peacefully without a blip. And Asher, when you finally wake up wondering, is it your turn to take watch? You see Trixie passed out. Who knows what time it is?
Literally
just-
paw still in my mouth.
I'll just take over watch. I won't wake her up.
Go ahead and roll with disadvantage.
Oh, that's 2. Oh wait, perception. So 5.
With a 5, you're half the reason why you don't wake her up is you're so tired and you barely hold out before Bonnie nudges you. Just go to sleep. I got this.
I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sleep where I am. Like just sink down like the 1 extra inch.
I just see that like you sitting next to Trixie's prone body, mouth in her hand as she's got like honey still like congealed. You falling asleep, dominoed, right there.
You know what's funny is you always say you make the mistake of saying honey, and I think it's because you think of Trixie as Pooh Bear.
Oh, that'd be so cute. But this is syrup. So
Yes.
syrup
Maple
dripping off.
syrup, yeah.
That's what I think of, like Pooh's hand in the honey jar,
Yeah.
and then
Whenever she does that, that is a Pooh Bear move, isn't it?
yeah.
And then
But I wear pants.
well, the viewers don't know that.
Oh.
I wear pants. Let me reassure y'all, I wear pants.
I'm not wearing any pants right now.
The night goes on uninterrupted.
Wearing shorts.
No problems occur. And you wake up to Fawn cooking something. Smells like food.
Long rest.
You have a long rest. I believe that restores.
Recover.
Did you have a
we
meal
need
before
food
you
and
went to
drink.
bed?
So the breakfast we're about to have should recover the exhaustion.
Did you have a meal before you went to bed?
No.
No.
Okay.
It says during this rest. I don't know if breakfast counts as part of the long rest.
We can count it because I'm not going to be evil.
But we definitely just passed out.
I should have
That's-
let it happen.
That's good to know, though. I don't think we realized that. That's
Yeah,
why.
definitely eat. Players at home. Eat, drink, sleep. Yeah, so you have had a long night's rest. The cave still reeks, but you don't reek as much anymore. At least you hope you don't.
Oh.
What are you doing with your new day?
I'm gonna go into the cave and see how the lie is doing on the goop.
It's putrid too. Like you go in there and you can see that there is been a series of chemical reactions with the goop, because there is some sort of fatty consistency to this material, this stuff. The body is dissolving, and
Oh yeah, we covered that in lie too.
even if you hadn't, it would have gotten lies caustic. But you can see that it's going to work this all out. It may take a few days before the cave is completely clear, and it may not be habitable for any creatures for quite some time. If the smell isn't enough to warn any living being away, the situation inside definitely is. So, an unusable cave for the moment, but otherwise, it seems to be working on that
Right.
end. Bonnie,
Breakfast.
as part of her morning thing while breakfast is being made, sits there and communes with nature. She comes out and says, "It's going to be better."
Oh, thank God.
Good, because that was a lot of work that we were happy to do.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Oh.
Decontamination. Couple.
I thought mopping the tavern at 4 a.m. was a lot. Whew. What's for breakfast?
Fawn has made a weird combination of what looks like fried poached eggs. Like she's tried to poach them, got frustrated, and fried them the rest of the way.
Okay.
Or the other way around, who knows? And some sort of bread that she sets each of them on. It's a little rough shaped. It's not the refined bakery breads that you're used to. This is definitely home done.
That maybe Asher and Tanzanite are used to.
They're used to seeing as other people
I'm
eat
used
them.
to nut loaf.
Nah, nut loaf's expensive. That's too fancy for the squirrel family of
I mean, it's
pure
called nut loaf.
nourishment.
It doesn't. It's essentially nut hardtack.
Here's your nut loaf. We're gonna mush it down for you and turn it into nut mash.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, use very simple food, but nourishing and decent.
Okay.
Gets you going.
Thanks, Fawn. That was delicious.
Did you want pickles?
Do you put pickles on this?
No, but I guess you could try it. I don't know.
I'm okay right now. Thank you. But you did say something else. Not the egg. There was something else you said. I can't remember what it was. Olives? Olives?
Yeah. We used to have olives. The trees burned down,
Oh.
and our neighbors up the way, they have some, but we haven't gotten a chance to trade with them in a while.
Oh, okay. Wow. I just remembered you saying something else, so I didn't know if that
It takes a long time for that tree to really do well.
Oh. So it's a fruit?
Yeah.
Huh.
You can get oil from it too.
There was something else I was thinking of. And Larissa honestly can't remember.
And we aren't in your brain, so we can't know for you.
No, it was something.
Maybe this is why we don't play late.
Yeah, that's
No,
what it is.
no. It was, okay. Oh. I remember what it is. So okay, roll with me on this. So I know you said that you use lye to make soap, but that's so what we use is there's this plant that kind of looks like the pine cones that fall out of the trees, and it's really goopy, but it smells really good. When we're kids we call it achewy because it looks like what comes out of your nose when you sneeze. But my mom always called it pine cone ginger. But that's what we use for soap. Like you can wash with it and it cleans you and it makes you smell good. So
Okay.
I'm just saying that's why I didn't know what lye was.
You want to pickle that?
No, I don't think you eat it. I think it's just like a medicine plant, not a food plant.
Okay. Well, if it's anywhere around here, Miss M has. She has a book on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying that she was saying that we had to have used lye to make soap, but like that's what I was thinking of, and I couldn't make the connection. So, but
Well,
yeah,
comes from a tree, and I guess technically the trees that are burnt to ash are trees, and that's what they use to get the lye from is the ash of the tree. So yeah, it could be the same thing, maybe.
no, you don't have to burn it.
So it just does it on its own naturally.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. I mean, it's really gross feeling. Like it really does feel like what comes out of your nose when you sneeze. I know. but it really does
So
smell.
it feels like that fish that you make with lye.
No. It's not slimy. It's not. It's just awful. But it like you can lather it up and it smells really good. It's weird.
Yeah.
So
Sounds weird. If your people want us to farm it, just
I could see if we could figure out. I mean, we don't normally kind of we don't keep it. It just kind of grows around where we live, so we just, grab it when we need it. But
she kind of looks at you disbelievingly for a moment, and then she sees that you're earnest, and she's just, okay.
I could maybe write to my mom and she could send you, if we can figure out how to, like, where the seeds are. I've never paid attention to it before, but my mom would definitely know because, like, she does healing and, like, plants and all of that. So if anybody could figure it out, it would be her.
Okay, I'll let Miss M know about that.
Okay, sorry, I'll stop talking.
No, it's fine. It's just I don't think we've seen that before, so it's fine. Okay. Sorry. So what are you all gonna do now? I mean, you've saved the town, so you probably have.
Go back to town. Get rid of the mercenaries. Find Tanzanite.
I mean,
Maybe make a new mayor election happen.
go back to Overton?
No, I mean for this town. So they can run themselves.
Well,
That guy at the thing said that Miss M would be mayor if were allowed to run themselves.
right, but they're not, and that would be an other mayor issue. Like even if we were to have an election here, Overton's not going to recognize. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to do about that, but
I mean, we could.
Oh, I don't want to be mayor of this place. No, just happy to do my part to help the community out. And while I may not be an Overton person as much anymore, I'm still thinking about it. But I don't want to be in charge.
usually the people that don't want to be in charge are the best people to be in charge. It's when people want the power over others that you have to be wary. I know it's a lot of work. It's
I wouldn't have any time for my. And she points at the new collection of books. My studies, or
We'll figure it out. Doesn't
Maybe
necessarily have
you-
to be you, but your town should be allowed to govern it.
does it have to be just one person?
Maybe you have like a town council.
Maybe that way everybody gets a say. Like maybe to someone to represent the
we have plenty of idiots. I don't know that we need them in the town.
who?
Are idiots? Every town has their idiots, right?
Yeah, but like, is everybody an idiot?
No, we just have. I don't think that they. Maybe they do need to be on the.
Everybody should get a voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to agree with them, but everybody should get a voice.
Ooh.
Well,
Okay. I hear you. I'm not sure we're ready for that though.
that's fine. Just
We got a lot of problems ahead of us first.
yeah. We should really. I don't know if we'll be able to find Tanzanite or not. I don't know. So our friend, was taken. She talked to me in my brain. I know it sounds weird, but she did it. She can do that. And she said that someone grabbed her and that she didn't know where she was and that she was in something that was swaying.
Canyonville. I'm in Canyonville. I know where I'm going. All right, I'm not there yet. I'm gonna be there. I know I'm going to, and I'm gonna be in Canyonville. You're gonna catch up with. We're going to Canyonville. I don't know where that, and then we can. Cuts off again.
Okay, keep in touch. If you see anything, let me know. Be careful. Stay safe. We're coming to you.
You hear in your head, Canyonville, they're bringing me to Canyonville. I don't, oh, somebody's talking to me. I don't know what to, okay, I'll be safe. Trees, watching trees, lots of trees, Canyonville. Before she got cut off.
Okay. We'll try to get to Canyonville and meet you. And
Rescue her.
rescue you as soon as we can wrap up things that we doing here. Okay.
That was her.
Sorry, she talks to you in your head and you can reply once.
She said something about Canyonville?
Do you know where Canyonville is?
There's a bunch of spaces north of here.
I assume that's also not the town that is on my documents.
Roll a history check. Since you don't have them open. DC is 15.
Well, it's 16 plus my...
Okay.
So dirty 20.
Canyonville is where you're going.
Dirty 20.
Canyonville is the place that they want you to go
How
to.
convenient.
It's like someone planned this out.
Convenient.
It's like someone had to figure out what to do with a missing party member and decided to place them at a future location where you may or may not go. And if you change your mind,
They'll
oh,
get moved.
crap.
We're going to get there in Tanzanite. It's going to be like mayor and like ruling over Canyonville.
Why would we not be surprised? Okay, well at least we know where they're going. I don't know how long we have to get there, but okay, how long do you think the letters took? Like did they get to Overton yet, or
Oh no, it's only been a day.
right, so how long would that take?
Like, if they're a fast barge, 4 days?
I thought you sent them on a thing, a spelly thing.
Oh, you mean those letters? Oh, I
Yeah.
thought you meant the ones I sent back to my order.
No,
Oh,
no.
no, they're already there.
Okay, and how long does it take to get here from Overton? How long not by boat? Or maybe I guess they could come by boat. Oh god.
What are you...
Well, I mean I asked my dad for help and I asked my mom for help, although I don't need my mom's help now. Although, oh crap, well now maybe she could bring the seats. Oh, well, probably too late if they're their own way. The guards. I don't know. You said deal with, but can we just try to make them better?
Maybe? Wonder if I can charm all of the guards.
I just meant like if they maybe feel better about what they're doing, maybe they'll act better. Or maybe they I don't know. I don't know if they're actually bad people or if they're just maybe we could try talking to them and figure that out.
Maybe. What do you think?
Stay tuned next week for Asher Charms the Guards on Probability of Demise.
I'm going to write a speech.
Oh god.
I'm very, very curious if that's going to actually happen. But thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you
Feel
for staying
Free
late.
to subscribe, hit the bell, do a jig.
Stop that. Stop that.
If you're drooling into your keyboard right now, been there, done that.
Don't forget to like, listen, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Like listen
We
and
also
subscribe.
have our actual audio version of the podcast if you're going to catch up on our show, maybe during your morning commutes for weeks. You can binge listen to us. Go to demisecast.com. We're also on all the platforms. Our website wouldn't let me stick the link for Spotify on the main links page, so it's down the footer everywhere. thank you very much for joining us.
Have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Willow says goodbye too.